This is Charlotte Green, National Chairman of the Coalition of Independents, inviting you to our Soup and Salsa. Join us on Monday, August 3rd from 7 a.m. to 12 noon at the COI headquarters on Chippingham Road, West Bay Street. We will have a delicious selection of Bahamian favorites, including crab soup, stew grouper, stew conch, split pea soup, vegan soup, chicken sauce, pig feet sauce, mutton sauce, turkey sauce, sheep tongue sauce, and vegan sauce. Soup is $20 and sauce is $15. Also on sale will be fresh pastries and cold soft drinks. Come out, bring a friend, and enjoy good food, good fellowship, and a great community atmosphere, all while supporting the movement. Come hungry, leave satisfied. Support a great cause.
Salt. From the early 30s, the Bahamas was in the salt mining industry. The Bahamas is one of the largest exporter of salt to the United States of America. During the wintertime in Canada to de-ice. It has more than just the medicinal purposes. It's now called solo salt. Yes, the salt out of the Bahamas is the purest in the world. It is now being used to produce clean energy in nuclear plants, submarines, and yes, even on the space shuttle. There are energy plants all around the world using the salt to produce clean energy. Why are we not doing it here in the Bahamas? The video that you're looking at now, it's a substance that is found in the Bahamas that can revolutionize the oil industry. It's oxalitic sand that is found nowhere in the world. This salt or sand can be dipped out of the water and put into your engine, and you will never have to change the oil again. It's clean energy. Look at how it sticks to your hand, and it is so acidic when you shake it, it turns to oil. This will revolutionize the oil industry. This is the reason why foreign entities are here in the Bahamas. Or are we still caught up in the Stafford Sands era, which is tourism? There are thousands of flights going over the Bahamas every day, going to other destinations. Why are they flying over us? Could it be that we are too expensive and we do not own the tourist industry anymore? Thousands of flights going to a country that has advisories of dengue fever, crime, prostitution, lack of clean drinking water. I say to you, this is the time for us to move away from the tourist industry. There is a war coming for the minerals that are found right here in the Bahamas. And if we don't do something about it, the WTO will take it all away under something called a no discrimination law. There, what you're looking at is flights flying over the Bahamas by the hundreds, thousands of flights going to the DR. Poverty is at the highest in the DR. They work for less than $5 a week. You go to Jamaica dollar is less than 1 US penny. Cancun, their salary there is $1 per hour. How are we going to compete with a tourist destination where they have cheap labor and obedient servants? I say to you again, my Bahamian brothers and sisters, we are the adults of this day. Remember this, there is nothing new under the sun. We are the children of Israel, the promised land we live in. But it's time for us to possess the land.
I don't know how
and make it common.
you did this in 50 years. You look at history. Who does this? Show me anybody else that has done this in 50 years. I'm waiting. Show them to me. This wasn't done by money. Money doesn't produce visions. Visions produce money. You've had leadership over here that were visionaries, great visionaries, and their vision was more about the people than the money, because you can't accomplish this in 50 years without loving your people first, because the people are the ones that's benefiting from this. Look at your health care. Look at your road system. Look at your highway system. Look at your airports. Who does this in 50 years? But who benefits? You're going to care about those people. It's something to be learned about what's been done over here that could be duplicated in the world, because it's people with this much money. You just don't have people with this much love for their people.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome again. Thank you for spending your Sunday afternoon with us. Of course, we are taking a break and we are on vacation, but we're taking a break from all of this. But what happened this week was too important for us to not address. And the amount of people that were calling us for information on this and calling us about what's going on with BPL, etc., we had to address it. We have to address it. And like we've told you before, the 2021 election and before this election, we have all the documents on BPL. We know everything that was spent. We have documents from the Treasury. This hedge that they keep talking about, that the FDM talks about, the PLP talks about. We have the documents on that. And so we're going to show you some documents now. We were ready to address BPL from day one, had we gotten in. And so we're going to show you not just the issues with BPL, and help you to understand why BPL is failing the way it is. But we're going to show you what our solution was. Some people said, well, if you were in power, it would have been the same thing. No, it wouldn't have. And we're going to show you in a very easy to understand way how we would have solved this problem very easily. The problem right now with BPL is that it's about making money for the FNM and PLP, the persons who own Focal. And that's why BPL is in the state that it's in. And you continue to suffer, but you continue to vote for the people who are benefiting from your suffering. So don't cry. You are voting for the people benefiting from your suffering, and we're going to show you exactly how this happened. We've done it before, but we're going to explain all of that to you on this day right here. So what I'm doing right now, of course, is sharing the live to make sure that everyone gets it. Um, uh, and we want you to do the same thing. We want you to tag some persons right in here, and we want you to use your at highlights, at followers to make sure everyone knows what's going on in this country. The problem is we don't have a Freedom of Information Act, and the COI has been the Freedom of Information Act, and we will continue to be the Freedom of Information Act. And so, what you're going to see today, some of it is going to blow your mind, but we're going to actually show you documents, hidden documents, Bahamas Treasury documents, secret government documents that you've never seen before. So make sure that everyone you know is watching this, and someone that tag Jobet Kobe Davis and anyone else that you feel needs to see this. Tag all of them. They're on vacation right now, living their best life, but we want you to tag them uh, because there's no reason they should be living their best life in Europe, loving themselves, while Bahamians are back home suffering, can't catch a break from this heat, from the mosquitoes, and from everything else that's going on. And so we're gonna reveal some stuff to you today, and make sure all of your friends and all of your family is watching, because this one's gonna be serious. And we're gonna show you documents as much as we can. Documents that we have shown you prior to this, we won't necessarily show them again unless you request us to do so. Showing you all the, the documents from uh, BPL and everything else to make sure that you knew all of this time. We've been teaching you. Maybe this time you will listen and take it seriously. We hope you do, because when you don't listen, what happens? What Grammy say? When you don't listen, you feel. And so when you start to feel, what does Grammy say? Don't cry. Uh, yeah, don't cry. Suck it up, and you take it. You take it. I'm going to be joined today by our chairman. I'm also going to be joined today by Graham Weatherford, and everyone knows and respects Graham Weatherford and his knowledge on these energy issues and wanting for the Bahamas as it relates to these energy issues that we've been suffering from all this time. And so I'm just taking a second to share this to make sure it isn't blocked. Sorry that we started late. We had technical difficulties, equipment burnout because of BPL, and all of this stuff we need to talk about. We need to have a serious conversation about, because um, it all doesn't make sense. All right, and so anyway, let's get started. So make sure that everyone is backstage. So, ladies and gentlemen, before we get started, um, I went to a town hall meeting in Grand Bahama. In fact, we flew over there just for that. Um, uh, some staff and other persons of Bahama Rock had told us about what was about to happen. That they were going to expand their dredging into an area that was near houses, and the dynamite blast was going to hurt people's houses, possibly, and uh, and they didn't like what was happening. Um, that it was going to hurt a lot of people. Now, it's easy to be misunderstood. There were some staff who was there who felt like I was calling them house Negroes. No, I wasn't speaking to them at all. I was telling them that I was there for them. I was actually speaking to the persons who were sitting at the table from the government, from Bahama Rock, and whoever else was there, sitting at the table on the panel, who were refusing to answer the questions of the people. It seemed like they had a different agenda. The government representative from the Department of Environmental Protection was answering questions for Bahama Rock on their behalf, defending them. And I made it clear that I didn't think that was appropriate. It shows that they were going to do this anyway. Because if the government already defending them, they should be the persons who are neutral, who was going to look through this and make sure that this was safe for the Bahamas. But we heard them defending the situation, and so that was concerning to me, and that's why I call them house slaves. That's what I call them, um, because they're just doing what they're told, and they already have their agenda. I wasn't speaking to the people from Bahama Rock, but what I feel is that uh, like Wendy's and Amazon and other companies do, you should have stock options for your staff. That's what I feel should happen for the staff of Bahama Rock. I feel it should have been happening from 1955, that the staff should have gotten stock options. So instead of just pay, they should have gotten shares in what it is they're doing. And of course, they will benefit, and of course, they would work harder. I think that's the first thing that should have happened. And it, of course, it doesn't, because we're treated like slaves in this country. I think that every year, billions of dollars made by Bahama Rock, the staff should get a piece of the pie. I feel that every year, from the billions of dollars made from Bahama Rock, that the people of Grand Bahama and the Bahamas should get a piece of the pie. I don't understand why we can't. I don't understand they would, why that's a problem. We have to change our thinking, and you're going to hear this in our new thinking for electricity, how we move forward electricity, etc., in this country, and power on the whole. And so that's what happened with Bahama Rock. So they have a reputation that they have destroyed homes in blasting because they use dynamite to soften the area, and then they take up the material. And the neighboring houses and businesses have been destroyed in some instances or damaged. And now they're moving to another area next to more people and they want to do some more damage. And or they can end up doing more damage. It's a catch 22 because there are some staff, about 80 something staff, that want to continue and keep their job. Um, and so they want this to continue so that they can continue to get paid. In the meantime, some people's houses are going to get destroyed and they're not going to be compensated because that's what happened in the past. And so imagine if it was your mother that you can get a job. Imagine this: you can get a job right now, but your mother's home is going to be destroyed. How would you feel? You could get a good job, construction job, a bank job, a nice job, but your mother or some of your family members' houses may be destroyed because of it. Their number one investment. How would you feel about that? And that's the catch 22 that we have. Maybe if they had come to the table saying, okay, we're going to pay these people, move them to another area, build them a house so that we can make the billions of dollars, but they don't want to even spend $200,000 on a house to move these people. They want to just come in and get and give nothing. I asked them the question, how is it that you're making, according to Vaughan Miller, billions every year, but you don't even invest in the people, the community? You give nothing. They asked him at the town hall meeting, what do you give Bahama Rock? What do you give to Grand Bahama? Not the Bahamas. What do you give to Grand Bahama? Nothing. They said they spend the operation cost is about 25 million, so they spend money with Kelly's and Bahamas, sorry, Freeport Power and some other companies to buy supplies, etc. They buy gas from Focal, and that's what they say is their contribution, $25 million. They make billions a year, billions. And I asked them, you couldn't build one school, not one. You couldn't help build that hospital. No, you couldn't help build a solar plant to subsidize electricity for these people. No, nothing. Like, y'all can do nothing. Not one thing. Not even some scholarships for the children, like Life does. Nothing. Just come and break up the rock, destroy the whole island, destroy the water table, and we get nothing. 80 something jobs. We're happy for those jobs. But nothing? No, man. No, man. Seriously? Bahamas, it's time for a paradigm shift, a new way of thinking. It's time. It's time, Bahamas. It's time. All right? And so, uh, yeah, we got to do something. All right? So, moving right along from there, while there, I had a chance to meet with a beautiful couple, a nice little couple that we've talked about. We happened to mention while talking about the Eric Gardner situation um, in the Eric Gardner situation, where there's this man called Samson Hill who is apparently fronting for Eric Gardner because there's no way he's this big contractor, and we started to show his situation. He's living, allegedly living in an apartment in Carmichael Road, but you're this big contractor with all this big government contracts and it's in your name, but it was really in Eric Gardner's name. And as a part of showing that, we showed that even his own son had to get a low cost home, had to get it himself. And so his son and his wife misunderstood, and they felt like we told the public that they got that stuff from Eric Gardner or from Samson Hill. We just want to make it clear that that is not the case. We never said that, but they misunderstood. And it's so hard when people misunderstood. You're trying to do what is right, but people misunderstand what you're saying. We weren't saying they were, that they got the low cost home from Eric Gardner or Samson Hill. What we were showing is that Samson Hill cannot. be the big contractor running this company, the so-called big company with these tens of millions of dollars in government contracts. Look at his situation. He he's a contractor, but he couldn't build a house for himself. He's a contractor, but he couldn't build a house for his own family, his children, his son, and named after him. And so what we were showing was that this is clearly one of those another situation of fronting. Had nothing to do with the son or his wife. We don't believe that they have anything to do with him or with Samson Heal or with Eric Gardner. And so we just wanted to clear it up for them because they asked me to do so. And so I just wanted to clear it up for them. They wanted to make sure that that was clear that they have nothing to do with that stuff. And that's why they had to get a low cost home. And I agree with them. All right. So just wanted to get that straight for them before we continue this and do what continue doing what we have to do because we got to talk about BPL today. I had one more thing I wanted to cover, but I want to get into BPL now. And we have our chairman on there. Maybe she had some technical difficulties. But Graham Weatherford is backstage waiting to come on. And I'm going to bring him on in a second. So just hold the line. Graham, we'll get to you in a sec. All right. And so ladies and gentlemen, I want to start out by talking about the situation historically on BPL. And then we're going to talk about where we need to be in solutions, and we'll bring Graham in on this to do that. But again, before we get started, we want to remind you that we are having a cookout, a soup and sauce out. We're having a soup and sauce out. Um, right here at our COI headquarters. And so that's going to be tomorrow, is Monday, August 3rd. Tomorrow from 7 a.m. to 12. And so we're going to be here as the best sauce, all the different sauces, mutton, you name it, pig, everything, all the sauce, rib, all the sauce. We're also going to have stew fish for those who want that. And we're also going to have soup. So you can buy your tickets at the headquarters or buy it right when you come in. We're going to have some awesome crab soup and some other soups. And so soup and salsa. So you support the movement, you believe in the movement, yeah, you got to support the movement. So we want you to join us. We're going to be here all morning. You want to sit down and talk. You want to see us, etc. We're going to be right here celebrating. Come get your soup and sauce and support the movement. We got to keep this movement going. We can't just support it with our intentions, with our mouths. We got to support it financially. And so that's why we continue to put in the great work. Our awesome team, our chairman and our great team are continuing the great work in order to make sure that we can finance this movement and keep going and doing what we have to do. All right. So it's important that we do that. And lastly, uh, ladies and gentlemen, our numbers have changed. 821-4265, 821-4265. 4264. 821-4264. All right. So the 4264 is for COI. All right. So 821 for COI. That's 821-4264. And you can contact us at any time. All right. And so that's what we're doing. Also, want to inform you that we have a new website. We have a new beautiful website that you can do. The old website was a coalition of independence.com, and that's really a long word. And there are some people who got the spelling of independence wrong because they will spell it with a CE instead of a S. And so we changed the domain name and built a brand new website that we think you're going to enjoy and love. And that brand new website has everything that's on the old website, but it's easy. It's called coibahamas.com. And so the new website for you is coibahamas.com. coibahamas.com. That's the new website. And so you can go there, and all of the information that was in the previous website is right there. And you can go there and see what's going on. And so this is the website as you're seeing on your screen. And you can click to become a member. Um, you can see Vision 2030. So everything that you've been seeing is right there. It's a beautiful website. And You can see our 100-day plan, which includes our energy plan, etc. We'll touch on some of that today. But you'd have seen where we would have been right now. For those people who are saying, oh, if y'all were in power, you couldn't do any different. We could have. And we're going to show you some of that today. And so our bios is still there. Myself, the chairman, and you can still see who was a candidate for different areas last election. And so, and you can also become a part of us. So you can go right here and you can join the Coalition of Independence. And so we're also going to have news stories down here. They have some old news stories that we did in a previous thing there. But you can also see our events, as you can see. Um, Soup and South South is there now in my live, which is happening right now. And so, uh, and you can also support the movement. All right. So whether it's Suncash, Fund Me, whatever it is, you can support the movement. It's right there on the homepage as you scroll down. All right. And so everything is there. So again, it's a beautiful website, and you can come and you can join the organization and get so some people have to wait on their cards, etc. But when you join the organization now with this new website, it will generate your COI card right away. Instantly, you'll get your card, and then it'll be confirmed after that. And you can pay and everything right on the website. All right. So you can join the movement, and like I said, it will give you your COI card instantly and immediately, so you can be a part of the movement. All right. So um, that's it. All right. And so, lastly, before we start, and I'm going to bring my guests on with this before we start to talk about BPL and show all the documents we have from BPL and all the scandalous stuff that's going on. And then we talk about our solutions. I want to bring in, not guests, they're part of the show. And so, ladies and gentlemen, let me move the text. Ladies and gentlemen, um, first of all, I want to introduce you our chairman, who's been keeping this party going, building this party from day one of our co-founders. And of course, she's a powerful, powerful woman who is transforming this country and contributing in a very effective way to doing that. She is the fire starter. You can hear the passion when she opens her mouth. You can hear the intelligence when she opens her mouth. I think she is the best chairman. Well, I know she's the best chairman in the country. And when you compare her to Fred Mitchell or to Dwayne Sands, they're not serious about this country. And we have a chairman who's passionate and serious about taking this country to the next level and is intelligent and has what it takes to get us there. So, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Miss Charlotte Green. Welcome, Miss Green. All right, let me make sure I could hear you now. Hold on, hold on. I don't have no sound. Let me see. I hope the Bahamas could hear you because I'm not getting any sound out of my device. Um, okay, let me check online and see if they could hear you. Just give me 1 second. I'll run a quick test. We should have done this before we started, but of course we had some technical difficulties getting started. So of course you can say something now, and let me make sure that they can hear you. Just go ahead, Miss Green. So of course you can say something now, and let me make sure that. Oh, we're not getting any audio from you. Make sure you're not muted, Miss Green. Make sure you're not muted. Oh, we're not getting any audio from you. Make sure you're not. Okay, what to do? Go out and come back in. Let's make sure we get some sound for you. I'll introduce Graham in the meantime. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, Graham Weatherford has been a champion for the natural resources, for a better Bahamas, building a better, smarter Bahamas for a very long time. He has been a champion of alternative energy for a very long time. He doesn't just talk this, he lives this. This is his life, and he's serious about this. He's powered his own home and business using alternative energy. And so when y'all are sweating, uh, he's not. He continues like nothing even happened. He doesn't even blink. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to present to you another brilliant Bahamian mind, and that is Mr. Graham Weatherford. Graham Weatherford, welcome.
Well, good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can, loud and clear.
Thank goodness our electricity is still on. That's the one thing I don't have to worry
We
about
can hear
tonight.
you. Now you froze up.
Whoa.
Okay, there you are. Go ahead,
Yeah.
Graham.
The one thing we shouldn't have to worry about tonight that a lot of Abaco and a good portion of New Providence has to worry about, unfortunately, is electricity to even see this show.
Yeah.
And that's insane because, I distinctly remember in 1999 talking to Mike Smith on a local radio station about the Y2K and what would happen if all the grids failed. And I told him without energy security, affordability, reliability, and sustainability, we don't have a country. You
We
can't have
don't.
a hospital. But
We don't.
I see Miss Green is back.
Yeah, Miss Green, just doing a little test.
1, 2, can you hear me?
Awesome. There you go, loud and clear, and your pictures are very good. You got good internet. All right, so, all right, so, and ladies and gentlemen, we got Graham to actually wear a tie today, so you know this the last days. All right, so, ladies and gentlemen, before we get talking about BPL and we showing you all these documents and what's really been going on, and these are secret documents that you've never seen before. Um, I want to just update you because something strange was happening in the U.S. last week, and it was the Senate grilling of Mr. Anthony Fauci. Mr. Anthony Fauci, as you know, was the man responsible for managing the COVID pandemic in the United States of America. He worked from the White House. And he was the man who came up with all the plans with shutting down the schools, with social distancing, with wearing your mask, and eventually with everyone getting this strange vaccine. Now it's coming to light that it was all a lie, that it was all a great deception, and there's considerations for Fauci to be arrested or bankrupt because of what he did. Um, But ladies and gentlemen, while that whole thing was going on, I was speaking out against it publicly. They made you feel like a fool because you were speaking out against these things that made no sense. Nothing about what they were doing made any sense to sensible Bahamians. And if you spoke out against it, they were like, "Oh, the professionals were saying this and that. Who you going to believe? That the professionals say it. You got to listen to your doctor. People are dying. Why are y'all being irresponsible by speaking out against it?" And they even got celebrities to come and promote Fauci, and they spoke so highly of him, and they made it seem like when they were on the same live with him, like they were meeting a celebrity, and they were so panicked, and they did that to hype him up and push him, and nothing made sense. At the last hearings that Fauci went to, he actually answered some questions and he made it clear that a lot of that stuff he just made up off the top of his head. The social distancing thing, he said he made it up. He literally made it up. The 3 foot, the 6 foot, whatever that was, he made it up, even after knowing it had nothing to do with how it was really spread. The mask thing, it made no sense because cloth masks can't protect you. And when they challenged it with him, he said, "Okay, wear two masks." And then he started going around wearing two masks. Even though they said you had to wear an N95 mask in order to really get any protection, he said, "No, we got to save them for the right people. Only have the medical doctors and nurses, medical professionals having them. So leave the public out." They even made these crazy rules like you to keep you inside so you couldn't go in the sun. The sun protected you from this virus. Think about that. But they said, "Don't go in the sun. Don't go in the ocean." They kept you from in the ocean when it could have helped you. And he made all this stuff up. And we warned the Bahamian public at the time, with risk of looking crazy, being insulted. We warned the Bahamian public, they didn't listen. But now they have his diary. And in his diary, Graham and Miss Green, he is caught saying the opposite in his personal diary of things that he said to the public. And we were all fooled. We were all abused. What he did was worse than what Adolf Hitler did. Adolf Hitler killed a lot of people, but this man affected the whole entire world. There's no one in the history of the world before that imprisoned so many human beings. Everyone was locked down. People died. They brought out this vaccine that made 0 cents. None whatsoever, guys. No sense did this vaccine make. It was not tested. They seem to make this thing, the same seemed to be made in a lab somewhere and then sent to China, and uh, and it spread from there. He knew it wasn't created in that market. He knew that. He knew it was created in the lab, but now he's caught. But they made a vaccine. They created a problem in the lab and then gave you the solution for it. That happens in so much movies. We watch so much movies with that. They create a disease and then they have the vaccine and you pay for the vaccine. The whole world had to pay, every government. And they made you get this job. And he said he made up the things to force you to get it, like you can't go to school, you can't go to work, all of these things they made up to force you to take the job so money could be made. And then they found out he was making money from this. He had shares and he's making money in all kinds of different ways. And we were fooled. And the reason I'm bringing this up, and first of all, the vaccine did not stop you from getting it like the polio and all the other viruses, sorry, the vaccines that we take. It did not stop you from getting it. You can still get it, you can still spread it. And so, what's the point of it? All right. They started to say this thing that you couldn't prove. Oh, well, at least if you get it, you wouldn't die. Come on. It was nonsense. And so, the reason I say this, and then I'm going to let my colleagues talk about this before we get to BPL. The reason I say this is because look how easy the whole world was fooled by nonsense that if you even took 2 seconds to think and not just listen to people because they were professionals making money off of you, and boy, I can touch back on that with BPL, because they were professionals who are making money to abuse you, you just listen to them. And I was flabbergasted by how many intelligent people fell for it. That's what bothered me. I was like, intelligent people, I was having debates with them. Like, none of this makes sense. And you're not challenging. You're just going to take that job. And no, I did not take that. And I continually told the main public I was not taking that. It made no sense. And educated people were arguing for it. That's what blew my mind. People got arrested, their lives were changed, they got records, criminal records, ministers, lockers down without thinking. Jesus. They say, oh, when the mark of the beast comes and they try to force you to take that and your hand, your forehead, or whatever, people say, I wouldn't take it, I wouldn't take it. Based on what I just saw with the COVID vaccine, yes, you will. Because they're going to bring the professionals in the coat, suit, and tie. They're going to hype up somebody and say, this is Dr. So and say all the good reasons that you should take the mark of the beast, and you're just going to take it. I couldn't believe how foolish so many people were. How could you just take that? Probably was that was probably a test run for the Antichrist. Like, let's see if people are really going to be this fool. Let's do a test. Testing 1, 2. Let's take the job. Miss Green, I'll start with you.
Once again, good afternoon. Ian. For that introduction earlier, before we were disconnected, involving the trial that's going on concerning Dr. Fauci. Amazingly, me and a few colleagues had this very same conversation today. And just like you said, we said this was actually the test run.
This was a test run lining us up for the day when the Antichrist arrived on earth, because I don't understand, for the likes of me, especially the educated and the intelligent. We know the world make money off a few things. That's health, education, wars, crime. This is how they make their monies. They make their monies off of crime. They make their monies off of
Yes.
biological warfare. And yet, I mean, yet still blind to what they were doing. The virus came from somewhere. It was created and it was released for one purpose and one purpose only. And that was to make money or save lives. That was Mr. Weatherford and many others in this country alone. I've seen where they were shouting out the alarm. Don't take this, don't do that. This doesn't make sense. It's dangerous. And these people, we were called conspiracy theorists. We were called uneducated. We were called all kinds of names. The only thing they cannot say is that we are not here anymore, but we are still here to tell the story. And to date, there are a lot of people who are experiencing health ailments because of this
Yes.
vaccine. But letting people live their life, now all of a sudden
Just stop it there.
they are slaves to their. So I want to say, because something like this is going to happen again. And this should be a lesson to all of us, because we have lost more people to the vaccine than what we have actually lost to COVID. And we're still losing people. They're just not telling us the truth.
And I should have spoken differently while doing this, because there's still a situation where everyone was muzzled on social media that if you said the V word, that they wouldn't spread, and they might even take down your live or your video. And so this will be a test for us to see if they still doing it. They were taken, but they were also taken before Congress, Zuckerberg and them, to see why they were doing it. Twitter was, and Elon Musk bought Twitter because of the censorship, to stop the censorship. Because of it, they just controlled everyone in every way they could to make sure that they got this thing done. Go ahead, Graham.
Well, thank you, Mr. Bain and Miss Green. What what I think, Miss Green, it came to is they were shaming you if you tried to use your brain. Think of this: you were in your car at 5:59, stuck in traffic, trying to get home for 6 o'clock because the virus could get you in your car. Do you all remember that?
Oh,
You get locked up at 6. You're in your car alone with a mask on. That's hilarious. But my question is, can we now have a class action global lawsuit against Mr. Fauci and the organizations he represented, and that listened to him and locked us up and caused us serious financial losses because we focus on the movement of people, tourism, and our businesses lost revenue. Many went out of business. Can we now sue? And I'm not going to call the organizations, but Mr. Bain, they have removed all the censor, because I've been sharing a lot of stuff on this issue and they've not even blinked, because it's now been proven that social media were basically the Gestapo, silencing
Oh,
and shutting us. Yes, that's what they were.
yeah,
And they
yeah.
know it. And they should also be sued for pushing the narrative. There's a lot of lawsuits. If we can find some serious lawyers, that some serious action could be. You were not allowed to go see your dying relative.
Wow.
Y'all think about that.
Or bury them.
Put them in, couldn't bury them. You couldn't see them when they're in the hospital. and it was a flu. In many cases, why did we not give Augmentin to somebody with a cough? 2 years earlier, 2017, I had a very bad flu. And that's what they gave me, and it cleared up in a week. But during this event, it was like we forgot the cures. But yeah, the class action lawsuit needs to come once this case is settled over in the States with the organization, you know the name, and the center in the States. And yeah, those people were responsible for a lot of nations being oppressed financially. And
Yeah.
there's plenty spins coming off of this. And I said in 2022, I said there's going to be a serious backlash. Remember when you took the vaccine, they were saying you had to sign a document that you wouldn't sue?
Yes.
What
That's what I was
the?
about to say. And
Yeah,
they made the governments agree to that.
remember, I believe it was one of our best heart doctors said that there's not been enough long-term study on this thing to take it. And then 2 weeks later was like, you should take it.
Yeah.
So no
Don't forget, Ray
long-term.
Vegas said you shouldn't take it. He spoke out against it. He and Wayne Monroe. And then he went to the States and came back. And he was like, okay, everybody take the job. Take the job. And this is
It was
after he got it. All right.
when
And so he didn't need the job anymore. But it's like, hey, everyone take it. Like,
oh,
everyone just
when
get
they
in line.
when they come out with a new aspirin or a new treatment for asthma, they have to do clinical tests for at least 10 years before they release these things on the people. So it was experimental. It was rushed. You had to sign something saying you couldn't sue. It just didn't add up for anyone who hadn't been to college and can critically think.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway,
It was sickening. I don't like what happened. I don't like what the Free National Movement did to us. There was no excuse for it. I think they could have just used common sense like Trump was doing and some in Florida was trying to do, saying that none of this thing made sense. And now that we see that Fauci made it all up about this social distancing, it just bothers me that so many people started dropping down. And I told everyone at the time while this was going on, I said, you are going to see it. Everything I say turns out to be the truth. I told everyone that they were going to see that Fauci was lying about everything that he was saying. I told them that you're going to start seeing people dropping down, mysteriously, young people, etc., needing blood and all this kind of stuff. And they won't say it had something to do with the vaccine. You're just going to have to just know it. And we started to see people dying like crazy, just dying. Um, uh, People go to the hospital and all of a sudden they need blood like never before. Like for what? You just went to the hospital for something simple, and they need blood, and uh, and we don't understand.
I had a lot of I had three friends that I know, and they had a what I would call a turbo cancer.
Wow,
It was a regular type of cancer. I won't say it, and it just spread within weeks, and they were dead.
wow,
And these are things that could be
yes,
treated, and you live for years. So,
hmm yeah.
and I can't prove a thing, but they did something that I didn't do, and we have to wonder.
And it's crazy that doctors at the time who spoke out against what was going on, they took their license. They literally, this was like historic. Like I said, this had more impact than anything Napoleon did, Hitler did, any of the evil people in world history. This was
The big,
serious.
the
And
biggest
so
global, the biggest global event,
we
the
got to
biggest
be ready for
global.
next time. The enemy is not going to use the same trick twice because we're not going to fall for it again.
The
And so they're
biggest
not
glo-
coming with a health trick next time. It's going to be financial. So this stuff you see Sebastian pushing with the IDs and the same this money situation where they have the central bank currencies, etc. That's how it's coming next. Everything I say turns out to be the truth, and it happens. That has been my track record from I've been 2 decades doing this. So I told you about COVID, all right, and the vaccine, etc. Now you're seeing it. Now I'm telling you where they're coming next. They're coming for your money, and they are going to make you feel like fools for not accepting what they're doing. So you can screenshot this, and please remember that I warned you what is coming next. and serious crash is coming. We're on the cusp of World War III because of everything that's going on, and we gotta be prepared. All right, but that's how they are coming next. All right, so all the stuff you see Sebastian talking about with the IDs and the one currency and all that kind of stuff, watch out, it's coming. And so we'll talk about that at another time. But I just wanted to let Bahamians here, you all intelligent, intellectual Bahamians, uh, talk about this and the fact that we stood up. We stood up, Charlotte. We didn't take their job. All right. They say we couldn't travel. We found loopholes. We found loopholes in order to travel. All right. They couldn't stop you from traveling by boat, only by plane. All right, so we jump on the boat. All right, we stood up, and we still have our regular DNA. We still can give blood, and that was crazy. They said if you took the job, you couldn't give blood. Like what? Like we didn't
You
see these
encourage
stuff.
So you encourage persons to take the job. After taking the job, years later, they're saying, well, if you took the job, you cannot give blood. Like, well,
Yes.
suppose the entire family plus one, except one, minus one, didn't take the job. And that particular person needed the exact DNA from their family member for their life
Right.
saving
Yes.
surgery. It's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
It is.
would you want to take blood that had that chemical in it?
No,
Because
Well,
that's the same as you getting vaccinated.
it's time for a change. There's a remnant, and I actually thank, no matter what you think of him, I thank Trump for his stance on this. He was against all of that, and some people feel like that's why they kind of pushed him out that time because he was against that agenda, and he stood his ground. Um, and now it's turning out that he was right. They caught Fauci red-handed, and so um, it's good that he made that stand. And now we're actually seeing the truth. So I also made that stand, and there's more to come. So y'all stay focused. Don't be deceived. So now let's get to and Menace, you owe all of us an apology. All right? You owe us an apology. All right? I know you're watching this. Menace, you owe us an apology. You are a doctor, you are a prime minister while we were going through that pandemic. And instead of you doing what was right, you went along. Bill Gates came, landed in that plane, did whatever he did with y'all, said whatever he said to y'all, and all of a sudden, whatever they wanted, they got.
I forgot about that.
Y'all stay tuned. Okay, so now let's get to the real problem we're facing in this country, and that's BPL. Graham and Charlotte, we are in a we are a failed state. We're in a state of emergency. After the earthquake, I started volunteering in Haiti. After the earthquake, when everything was mashed up, break up, their electricity was more reliable than ours right now after an earthquake. We are a failed state. Whenever you cannot deliver simple services like water, electricity, etc., you are a failed state. Nothing is working properly in this country. Nothing. And we keep accepting that. And we didn't have to be here. We could have been operating properly, and we're going to talk to you about our solutions. But first, I want to explain to you before I get Aku to jump in and talk about all of this. I want to explain to you. Well, I'm going to get your views first. Starting with you, Ms. Green, then you, Graham. How do you feel about the state that the Bahamas is in with electricity?
well, Mr. Van, well, before we dive deeper into that, or before we analyze BPL, we must separate the failures of the system from the hardworking men and women on the front line. So I just want to say that on behalf of the Coalition of Independence, we extend a heartfelt condolences to the family and friends and the communities um, on the passing of their colleague, 35-year-old BP employee Lawrence Cooper. who lost his life following an electrical incident while working in Grand Key, Abaco. BPL has confirmed that an investigation is underway. We pray that God comforts the families, strengthen his colleagues, and grant his soul eternal rest. And Mr. Bean, we also want to say to every BPL employee working in the power stations, in the control rooms, in the trenches, in the substations, on the utility poles throughout our islands, we want them to know that we see them, we appreciate you, we recognize that the dangerous conditions that you work under. So we just want to say thank you for all that you do, because we know that you are also affected by what is taking place. And every day you leave your homes, you are risk possibly not returning home, as we saw what took place in Grand Key, Abaco. So we just want to say, from the Coalition of Independence and all believing Bahamians, we thank you for what you have done and continue to do. Um, so, Mr. Bean, again, no worker should have to had lost their life the way that the late Mr. Lawrence Cooper did. That was very unfortunate. And, we have to look beyond this now. We have to look at the safety of our BPL workers. Not only the fact that the entire system is failing us, the energy system is failing, but we have to look at the safety of our men and women that are working on the front line of BPL. But as it stands right now, Mr. Bain, when the PLP, the Progress Machine, was campaigning during elections, they said, and I am going to say they said, I'm not just going to single out Miss Colby Davis, but the PLP party said progress, progress, progress. We failed to ask, the Bahamian electorate failed to ask, what does that progress look like? What do we have for energy reform in this country? What is the plan for immigration? What is the plan for crime? And now that we are a few months in, this is where we are right now. And it is dreadful, by their own admission, by their lack of response to the people, by their lack of accountability. They are telling us now they are governing not on progress, but they are governing on press statements for damage control. They are now governing on excuses. And we are not going to have that. We are tax paying citizens, heavily tax paying citizens. We are not going to accept the excuses from people who chose to give themselves a raise in this country. No, no. You are going to come to the Bahamian people with plans. You are going to come to the Bahamian people with plans. And you're going to show us. Don't tell us. And you know what, Mr. Bean? This is me being sarcastic. I think the reason why we're experiencing so much flood throughout the Bahamas, they talk about global warming. But the reason why the Bahamas is experiencing so much flooding is because of those groundbreaking ceremonies they have in no progress. Every time you see they pushing down, cracking up the earth. When we look, there's flooding in this area, flooding in that area. All my life, I was witnessing groundbreaking ceremonies and no building going up. Or the building would take a century to go up, or a decade to go up. But as it stands, Mr. Bain, we have one power station in this country that provides energy to almost 100,000 customers. I think they say 85% of electricity consumers in the Bahamas receive BPL services. And Right now, I am feeling it for certain business in the country. They're not being compensated for their losses. I really do feel it for them. I feel it for the seniors. I feel it for the older people. I feel it for the hospital, the nurses. The hospitals are strained. The businesses are strained. And we have Fred Mitchell coming out blaming the FNM. The FNM is doing a press statement blaming the PLD. I don't get it because both
Mm.
of them have in this country for decades. No one had a solution. No one presented a plan. And as far as I'm concerned, the Bahamian people, they need to stop praising. Please stop praising press statement from politicians who have sat in a party governing this country for decades.
Yeah.
Regardless, Mr. Bean, regardless whether that member of parliament is new or not, we need to look at the party's platform. We need to look at the party's decade plan. What was the plan for BPL beyond Perry Christie? Beyond Perry Christie, beyond Brave Davis, before Brave Davis. Brave Davis was was I think chairman or member minister for BPL one time ago, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. He sat as minister of works. I don't know. I mean, had plans for BPL. If they didn't have plans then, do you think they have plans now? And it shows that they don't have plans concerning this progress government. But I digress. I'll pass it over to my colleague, Mr. Graham Weatherford.
Go ahead, Graham. How you?
Well,
And you're absolutely right with everything you said, Miss Green. Absolutely right. Good observations. Graham, how do you feel about the state of electricity in the country right now?
well, Miss Green, you said it very well. It's what it is. But what scared me the most is one of the major news channels just reported that it was said, and I shared this video, that the grid, and what do we mean by the grid? It's just the wires, lamp poles, transformers, everything that's used to get the electricity from out west and Blue Hill to your house. Okay? It's the wires, to make it simple. They said the grid has almost reached full capacity. Now, what does that mean? Well, that's scary because if you have a little skinny drop cord, the skinny drop cords, not the big one, and you try to plug in your light in your fridge, it'll work. But then you try to plug in your electric stove and your hair dryer and the big items, that wire will get hot and it'll burn up. We can probably do a test like this one day just to show people what's going on. So if the wires are almost at full capacity, meaning you have all this electricity at the power plant and you're using all this electricity at homes, but the wire's really skinny, it can't handle more electricity in the homes, even though you may put more power at the power station. So, what does this mean? Um, we're selling a lot of electric cars. I have an electric car for many years, and it burns 4,000 watts when you plug it in. What does that mean? And I'm going to keep it simple, Lincoln. Remember the hot 100-watt light bulb?
Yes.
When I plug in my electric car, it uses the same energy as 40 of those.
Yes.
Would you put 40 100-watt light bulbs on? Now imagine if we have a few thousand of those electric cars in areas where the grid, the wires, can barely support what's running now, your fridge, your light, your air condition. We're going to have some problems. And more people are getting air conditions, and rightly so, because the planet's getting a little warmer, especially in the House of Assembly for the last 30, 40 years. It's a lot of hot air in there. That's global warming. You know, we need to have, and we said it years ago in 2008, we need a smart grid and we need more generation of power because we don't have enough power. And we should be making so much power with the ideas that the COI came up with to supply the cruise ships with power. And they could pay us. And some of that extra money, because we do mark up the power, would go to buy some of this equipment and maintain it. But I put it to you that I don't see the plan from I was 6, 7, 8 years old living out east. The light used to go off 8, 10 hours a day. So it's nothing new. But at some point, you can talk about something, we can complain about it, or you can do something about it. And that's why around 2008, I haven't had a vacation in Miami from 2008. I took every piece of money and bought the solar panels. But we started
Wow.
talking about, yeah, how's Miami look? But my light is on. So you had to prioritize. But we could have had solar on every single home for free.
Well, we're going to
Even,
talk about solutions in a minute. We
yeah,
just
yeah.
want to tell them the way things are now, and then we're going to tell them the solutions because people want to know
It's,
what would we have actually done, how would we have done it if by now, 2 months in, we would have had relief. And I'm going to show them that we would have had relief right now had they put the COI in there, and we're going to show them exactly how it would have been done very easily. We would not have had any of these problems right now, and we would have never had electricity problems and for the rest of our existence as a nation. And so we're going to get to that in a second. Before we get to that, I want to let's remind people. I'm not going to pull up everything, but I just pull up a few things to remind people because the FNM and PLP are arguing about who did what. They always argue about who is worse, and I don't think the people are catching on to that. Both of them are telling you that they are no good, and you should actually believe them because both of them have been no good for us on electricity or anything else in this nation. And so we're gonna remind you for a second that we had blackouts, the same blackouts under the FNM. It's just that we forget so easy. Once it stopped, it's like, okay, we good now. Let's move on to the next thing. And then we forget. We had the same blackouts. We was crying and complaining under the FNM. All right. Now the FNM made a statement that during the lockdowns when everybody was home, we didn't have any load shedding. But that's because everyone was home. The businesses that use most of the electricity were shut down. They were closed. And so you didn't need more than half of the energy that you need normally when there's businesses and people at home. And so them bamboozling you by saying during the lockdowns they kept the power on, that's because the businesses were closed. I mean, and they keep trying to outsmart Bahamians with their little slick talks. But I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna just put it up on the screen. Just a couple things from yeah, a couple things to remind you. I'm not gonna go back far. Just recently, when the lights went out. All right. Um, So this is just stuff that's reported in the news. This isn't all of this stuff because we have some more stuff documented, etc. All right. We're not even going to go back to 2017. We'll go right from 2020 just to show you that it was from Minis administration and this administration. All right, because the AFNM is saying all this stuff about the PLP and the PLP all this stuff about the AFNM, but we wanted to see it as both of them from time immemorial. But we just go back this far. In 2020 in New Providence, not even talking about the Family Islands, in 2020 in New Providence under the Minister administration, we had island-wide blackouts lasting several hours. All right, the government had all kinds of excuses about why this happened, talking about some system short here and some other nonsense there. And that's in May 2020. In July, in July, 2 months later, we had more. There was like system disturbances affecting the eastern, central, and southeastern communities for hours. All right, they cited a transmission network fault. In September 2020, Minister Administration, the Tribune counted more than a dozen outages in 3 weeks. Y'all remember that? How could we forget so easily? This is why we are so easily deceived. We was crying. And this before the lockdowns. The lockdowns really started in March 2021. We was crying. including island-wide blackouts. Virtual learning and small businesses were affected. All right, that's in 2020. All right, sorry, the lockdown started in March 2020. Sorry about that. All right. Um, June and July 2021, Minutes Administration, frequent outages reported. Uh, July Blue issues, they had rolling blackouts, etc., power issues. That's on the Minutes Administration. All right. Also, and minutes by the time as they left, they got their power generation up to par to where it should be. All right. Um, but we had blackouts even up to June and July. We had frequent blackouts in New Providence and the Family Island, all over the country. Frequent outages were reported up to that time. All right, and you can go back to the Tribune, June 17th, July 26th, and you will see that. All right, just some simple research. All right, we had no relief on the FNMR PLP. So now Davis administration take over October, September, October 2022, hours long partial blackouts followed by further widespread system disturbances. BPL cited third party line damage in one event. All right, that's from September 6th, that's the Tribune, September 6th to October 14th. All right. 2022. June, July 2023, same thing. More of the people are confirmed load shedding. They say after a generation fault, ERCA later cited significant outages across several Family Islands and New Providence from June 2027 to July 14, July, so June 27 to July 14, 2023. June to September 2023, a North Andros Power Station fire, uh, an underwater cable break at Karen Island and New Providence cable and transformer faults caused extended interruptions. August to October 2024, generator trips, cable faults, lightning related outages affecting communities around the island, etc. January 2005, Davis administration, the Wilson City unit tripped, and the remaining operation unit developed problems during restoration. June to July 2026. That's Davis administration, repeated interruptions, and this is now preceded major outage after a lightning damage, whatever, a critical point between generation and the grid. The energy minister said ongoing infrastructure was not an excuse. All right. And so we have all the source links for everything that we just said. And so, as you can see, guys, and you can tell me what you think, Bahamians have forgotten, and they're just saying, "Oh, this government got to go. Vote this government out. This electricity bad, bad." And some people are thinking, "Oh, maybe you should go to the FNM." Some FNMs are using this to say, "Yeah, yeah, see, come to us because electricity is bad." But as you can see, just from 2020 to now, it didn't go back even to 17 or even to the previous administration under Perry Christie and under Ingram. They've been having these rolling blackouts every summer. And this has been the norm. And they have no solutions in all these years. What y'all think? Go ahead, Graham.
Well, it's not just the summer. I actually made a joke. Mama baked the Johnny cake. No, buy the generator. Christmas coming. Because at Christmas they have the blackouts. Because you see, it's not the air condition and the load. It's everybody's hot water heaters working. And those hot water heaters burn way more than air conditioning. And that's why we have the blackout and the load problems at Christmas. It's been the same thing from can remember from 8, 10 years old. I'm telling you. It's not that this just sprung up. And the problem is you can't fix it in 2 days because it took 53 years, no, 60, 70 years to manifest. So what's the quick, mid-range, and the long-term solution? But right now, when you admit that the wires, transformers, And the way to get that electricity from Clifton Pier to my house is almost maxed out. How do you fix that quickly? And notice they've never given you anything on BPL except, oh, what happened? And they're putting a band aid on it. Give us about 2 hours. Ends up being 10. And we never have accountability, but it's fine. It comes to a head because more electric cars are coming and more people getting air conditioning. So, TikTok. But the difference is the COI did give a detailed plan and is right on that lovely new website. And, but no one probably, very few probably read that. So, tonight, if you can break it down, it would be really nice because people keep saying you run your mouth, but y'all ain't never give no solution. And we even did a live in studio talking about the ground effect vehicles, the transportation, the water as a byproduct, the hydrogen. I'm sure you can get into all of this again tonight.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. Miss Green, after seeing that, I know that that was a trip down memory lane for a lot of people because we forgot that. You know, we let the F&M and PLB get away with our short memories, but under the F&M, it was horrible. Under the PLP, it is horrible. How do you feel about that?
Like I said earlier, the PLP isn't going to fix it because they have no plan. The FNM isn't going to fix it because they also have no plan. If we can recall that in February 27, 2016, the government signed a 5-year management agreement with the American company Power Secure to manage BPL's generation and transmission distribution. So that arrangement was discontinued following the change of administration in 2017. Now, in 2016, during their 2016 reign, it was the same thing. 2017 came, BEC now became BPL. And they brought in a foreign management that ended that arrangement early. But we understand that the fundamental problems still remain. So what does that say? This is the PLP and the FNM. That means changing boards, managers, and company names will not fix BPL without long-term planning and proper maintenance, financing, and accountability. Now, you know why, my fellow Bahamians. Do you understand why it is hard for them to really invest in what is needed to be invested in? It's because the government itself acknowledged that BPL carried more than 500 million in debt. And that debt affects the ability to purchase equipment, to maintain infrastructure, and to carry spare parts, and to finance major improvements. And, Lincoln, our prime minister was traveling all around the world talking about clean energy, going green, and the Bahamas stuck in the 19th, what is the 20th, in the 20th century day of trying to facilitate electricity, energy for a small country. Now, I understand that we're archipelago, okay? And I feel like different types of energy, you have hydro, you have sun, like you said, we're going to get into that, should be able to facilitate different family islands. We should be able to do that. But Mr. Bean, it all goes to show you that we will not get the results we need for energy from the PLP or the FNM. We have yet all of these press releases, all of these damage control statements. We have yet to hear the FNM present their energy reform plan for the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. We have yet to hear a sustainable plan from the PLP, from the minister, Jobert Colby Davis, and the Progress government for a sustainable energy reform plan for the Bahamian people, for the businesses, and for the regular consumers. Do you know that in the US right now, some Americans in certain states are complaining about their light bill because their light bill is $100 because
Yep,
they're not used to being
yep,
$100. Our
that's
light
correct.
bill, our light bill is almost the same as our mortgage. That is robbery. I've seen where some Bahamians have posted their bills on social media. for the months we have been experiencing horrendous service. That is highway robbery. That is political robbery. And the Bahamian people need to stand up. I said to myself that I will not pay that type of bill
Yeah,
to BPL, knowing that we did not receive
definitely.
the service we were supposed to receive. No,
How is the bill?
no.
How is the bill more, but your light is off?
What
I have the answer for that. You want to know what it is?
is it?
They turn the electricity off to where everything melts in your fridge, and the house gets very hot. And the first time that electricity comes on, we rush to put everything on. And for those people who have air conditioning, they set it cool, cool, cool. 16. Don't put it to 16. Put it to 25 and put a fan on, because that is intentional evil in in my opinion, to do that to you, because that machine works very hard and your meter spins really quick. Put it on 25, which is 80ish, and put a fan on. It'll still get cool and comfortable quite quick, but you won't be paying that extra money. You see, because when your house gets cool, it only cuts on a little bit and then cycles on and off, right? The machine, the compressor outside. But by letting that house get hot, that's like you let the house get hot all day and then you try to cool that down. And that's what's causing, and that's why you see the lights go out, they come on. And then 10 minutes later, they off again because the load hit. But they're not telling, Florida Power and Light tells you how to save energy and how to conserve and how to help them provide you energy without putting too much burden on. We don't do this. Wonder why?
Hmm.
It all comes
Tell
back
him
to
why in a
fuel.
minute.
Come back to fuel.
Graham,
The
I
Bahamian
think one
people,
of
the Bahamian people are
the
just cash cows.
yeah, I think one of the biggest issues here, before I get to these details, one of the biggest issues we have here is that they're destroying your appliances. I watched today, I watched, I have a very expensive, maybe $200 surge protector. All right. Not them little them cheap strips you buy. That's not a surge protector. That's just a strip, energy strip. I have a very expensive surge protector. Um, and I watched that burn out and start to smoke. All right. Um, Today. And that's crazy. And that's one of the reasons we started late. But I watched that burn out and start to smoke because of what's going on. And your appliances are being destroyed and they're not paying people. They're not paying people when our appliances are destroyed. They're not compensating us when um, your food etc. is destroyed in the fridge. Your medicines is destroyed in the fridge or the freezer. They're not compensating us, and that is what should happen. And that's what IRCA should be making sure happens. They make all kind of excuses to why they're not going to pay you, and no one gets justice. And I think that that needs to be the first thing we do. And they're doing this and getting away with this because there's no repercussions. But I think when Bahamians decide to stand up and start suing them, when IRCA decides to get serious, or when we start to protest properly, because they're destroying, that's violence. They're destroying your appliances, your expensive 60, 70-inch TV, they're destroying. Your refrigerator, they're destroying. Everything you have is being destroyed by these people, and you're getting nothing for it. That is wrong, and we have to now start to stand up. Now, let's get to the crux of the problem so we could get to the solutions, guys. BPL is is a in my opinion, BPL is running like a criminal organization. BPL's history is ripe with corruption. Corruption is a crime. We've had Fred Ramsey, who was a candidate for the FNM. Fred Ramsey was arrested because of BPL scandal. He made some arrangement with a foreign company, a French company, to buy generators from them. He was paid under the table, and he shared the money with another high-ranking F&M official. All right, um, high-ranking, and Fred Ramsey took the fall because that person was allegedly a former deputy prime minister. All right, that got stuff named after him. But um, Fred Ramsey did this secret deal. Now, here's what happens in the Bahamas when we do secret deals. Nothing comes out of it unless America gets on it. You can see it's still happening. Eric Gardner got arrested because of America. Everyone else who got getting arrested is because of America doing their investigations in our country. How is it the foreigners can see what's going on in our country and we can't? That's because the politicians are involved in the crimes. All right? And so Fred Ramsey made the deal, got paid, and they selling us out for chump change. They got a couple $100,000, you know. That's what they was paid off. A couple $100,000 in order to get these bad generators and continue with generators and have us suffer. A couple hundred, they sell out for lunch money. Like that's crazy that they do that. Um, and so that was evidence of what's been happening at BPL. And the reason they keep buying these generators because generators break down, engines break down, and so you have to keep buying parts, and that's where the money is. The money isn't in selling cars for the car dealers, you know. The money is in selling the parts because with the parts you sell the car over and over. All right, and so that's what they do. They continue with these generators that, and I hope my stream is good because I keep see it keep streaming. They continue with these generators because they have to keep buying parts, and they make money from buying these parts. Okay, now outside of buying the parts, and that's why they don't want to go solar because solar doesn't have all those engines with parts. Just like a electric car, it doesn't have all those water pump and all those engine parts you have to keep changing, and so it reduces your maintenance. Solar would do the same thing. Now, the real reason that they don't want to to go solar and hydro and use renewable is because they are benefiting from us buying fossil fuels. And you continuously burn it, so they keep making money. As you burn it, they make money. For you to watch TV, they make money. They are selling you TV. I want you to understand this now. They are selling you TV. So they don't have to be the cable company, but you can't turn that TV on without the electricity from the fuel. So every time you watch that TV, you are burning fuel and they getting paid because you watching TV. Every time you turn on the lights you can see, they are charging you for that. For you to use the phone, not only do you pay a phone bill, you have to charge that phone. And so Focal is getting paid for you to use the phone. You see how deep this is? We don't think on that level. They are making money from every activity you do and charging you extra money for it. This is where the money is made, Bahamas. You'll open your eyes. You to get oxygen in the hospital. They are getting paid for that. Everything you do that uses electricity, they are getting paid, even though you don't see it. Us to be broadcasting live right now, Focal is getting paid for that
Well,
because
but I have to interrupt. They're not getting paid on my end because the sun charged the battery that's doing this. But you're correct
yes,
for
and we're gonna get to that.
99%. Yes,
We're gonna get to that. Yes, definitely. And I got one solar generator
generator.
situation right here right now doing the same thing. Um, but they are getting paid, and that is why you are suffering. That fuel surcharge is going to them. They benefiting from that. The fuel surcharge is more than your bill because that's for them. And so they are making money from your suffering. They want to keep generators to make you suffer because they benefit from it by you burning fuel instead of getting from the sun, which generates energy itself. All right. And you don't have to necessarily pay for that. And so I want to show you. some more research. Well, before that, the fuel that is bought, which is used to run this country, we pay for that several times. And I want you to listen to this very carefully because this is how you are being robbed. And this would have almost been done with for you by now if you had voted for the COI. Almost. Not fully, but almost. By the end of the year, definitely. And definitely by next summer, we'd have been fully self sufficient. But we'll break down the solution to you in a minute. Um, Focal provides fuel to BPL. But Focal, we have shown you documentation over and over. I won't show it again now because we've done many lives showing you that. Focal gets the money from NIB, your NIB. Can you imagine that? They get, I'll call it, free money from NIB to buy the fuel to sell to BPL. Do you see what just happened? That ain't them. They get free money from your NIB that they don't have to pay back. They call it investment. Then just keep rolling over. Free money, boom. Then they buy the fuel. So they didn't have to pay for that fuel. So whatever they're making is pure profit. You paid for that already. So remember, you paid for that. All right? And then they buy the fuel from Shell, West, etc. You see? Now, BPL has to buy that fuel from Focal. Remember, we already paid for that with NIB, right? But BPL now has to buy that from Focal. And guess how BPL buys it from Focal? BPL gets a loan from NIB to buy the fuel to buy from Focal that we already paid for with the same NIB money. So money coming out of NIB twice for the same fuel. And we paid for that twice. And we got to pay back both. Hence the fuel surcharge.
Mr. Bain,
So
Mr.
BPL,
Bain,
yes,
please repeat that again. I believe that went over some people's head. NIB money comes from the people. It is deducted from their salaries.
yeah.
NIB is deducted from your salaries, Bahamian. Mr. Bain, please repeat that again. PR, please frame this.
So NIB gives money to Focal for Focal to buy fuel to sell to BPL. So we didn't pay for that because that's our money that came out of our salary. All right?
Yes.
That bought the fuel to sell to BPL. Now, for BPL to buy the fuel from Focal, they borrowed the money from NIB again
Two
for the
times.
same fuel that's already bought. They borrowed the money from NIB to buy the fuel from Focal to generate the fuel.
And this is coming out of the
And so,
Bahamians' paycheck through
yes, and
NIB.
this is why NIB has to constantly go up. And when
But
it's time to pay it, go ahead, Graham.
sorry, can I say one thing?
Go
So
ahead.
so the people that sell fuel borrow my money from NIB to get the fuel, and then the power company borrows money from my NIB to buy the fuel, and then I pay a third time when they put that fuel surcharge on me.
You pay for them to be able to pay it back.
Yeah.
That's
So
what you
there's
paying for.
three
No,
times.
hold on. That's not three times.
It isn't
You got to
three.
keep counting, Graham, because you pay the bill to pay for all that. And on top of the bill, you pay the fuel surcharge. That's another time you pay in order to pay them back. You see? So that's like you jumping in the taxi and the taxi charging you to take you from the airport to Bahama, and then they charging you for the fuel. All right? So you pay in twice, right? The bill and the fuel surcharge. But imagine if they borrowed the money from you to buy the fuel. How ridiculous would that be?
Mr. Bain,
How ridiculous.
now bring it back home to the Bahamian people, my fellow Bahamians. This is why NIB is going to continue increasing. Think.
Yes. until it's 25% of your salary because they're never going to catch up. They're going to keep sucking NIB dry, and Bahamians are going to keep falling for it and voting for it. And you shaking pom poms and loving them. Oh, see, my party got money. Look how they spending money on me. Because they don't swing you and make all that money from you.
If you are paying NIB, if you are a pensioner and you're wondering why your monies are late, you're wondering why it's taking so long to receive your monies, my fellow Bahamians, look at the paper trail, follow the money, educate yourselves on what's going on in your country.
So that's
And
why
so,
they can't give NIB increases to anyone because they're tapping that hard.
yeah,
Twice, three times.
they're sucking it from NIB. So let's go to some documents because I just wanted people to get that so they could understand kind of generally what has been going on. Y'all just been getting swing. And guess what? The FNM and the PLP is benefiting from this. And so you
Yes.
will never get relief as it relates to this. We could have gone solar a long time ago, and we're going to show you how we would have done it. All right, but we just want you to see some facts right now, and I can let you see that I have all the documents, and we were ready to deal with them right away, immediately, because we already did the research, the investigation. We know where everything is and whatever was done. And so, what you're seeing right now is the BPL debt map. To be prepared, all right. And this is just the publicly known stuff. Major facilities and financing. These people been borrowing money like crazy. All right. Here from 2003, $20 million here. 2009, $211 million that keeps rolling over, and they keep up renewing it and redoing it, and we keep paying the same $211 million over and repeatedly. All right, syndicated bank facility included Credit Suisse, Bank of the Bahamas, CIBC, First Caribbean, RBC, Royal Bank, etc., etc. All right. Um, and then it turned into $246 million government financing foolishness. 2009, $3.4 million National Insurance Board balance recorded. All right, some U.S. dollar debt refinancing. Um, uh, First Caribbean International Bank took up $5 million. See how much debt they raised, and this is a monopoly, no competition. $26 million bonds by NIB. So this NIB gave them money here. $26 million from NIB. This 2011, 17, and they keep rolling it over. So every time it's time to do this, they just roll it over. All right. Um, So 2018, let me read that. NIB reported holdings in three BEC bonds. This is an investment financing exposure, not a loan, that should be added to the facilities above without reconciliation. All right. 2018, $100 million, a short-term facility, BPL financing facility. All right. And so there's another $246 million they borrowed in 2020. Government Bahamas credit facility. Whenever you see government of Bahamas, that's an IBA. Um, $100 million, cap about $50 million advance. That's 2019 and 2020 government BPL fuel charge facility. All right, and that's what we paying with NIB and the fuel surcharge. 2020, $13 million NIB BPL facility participation. And again, we showed you all the documents for this previously, actual documents. NIB again, 2025, so that's last year, $19 million into American Development Bank again. BPL was named direct borrower. All right, Credit Suisse was included among the lenders to the $211 million BC facility. Later government budget documents identify a 171 agreement. Listen, they'll be taken from NIB to pay these things. Is the interest on these as dangerous? I can show you some interest payments from the Treasury. All right, with this legacy debt that they keep rolling over, and all they doing is paying. And so, government audit general reports. This showing you where we got it from, where we got the information from. So, let's go to some documents. All right, I have so much
But
documents. I don't even know where to
but
start. And you can talk. You can talk.
but Mr. Bain, I just got to ask you. Someone sent me a text to ask you, the only guy selling chicken in the bag tonight. How you broke?
You can't
You
be.
the
It's
only guy.
impossible.
You the only person selling electricity today. How you broke? There needs to be a serious forensic audit on this thing from the beginning, from whatever
Who
year
is
that it.
going to
Yeah.
who is going to do the forensic auditing? Um, e- listen, listen. Right now, Mr. Bain, you know how I go. Doing lives right now. I'm looking at this right now as a form of education. But if you're dropping this knowledge and you're dropping this information to the Bahamian people, this is why I personally don't like to do lives, because some of our people look at it as a form of entertainment. Okay? You're presenting the documents. NIB is increasing and will continue to increase. The reason NIB is increasing is because the government is dipping into your retirement fund. The reason why you cannot get a rise in your NIB is because the government is borrowing the money from you, and you are paying the government back from borrowing the money from you. Make it make sense. Now that we know this information, my fellow Bahamians, what are we going to do about it? Are we going to just sit here and accept what you're getting as just entertainment? The government must be put before the courts, even though they appointed the judges. But come on, man, the Bahamians are just as bad. We are just as bad, and we are also at fault for the way our country is running. We are adults, tax-paying citizens, and we are carrying on like infants in our country. Infants. The government has no respect for us. How you could take my money, borrow it from me, and have me paying it back and continue to increase NIB, and he ain't giving me no increase? What kind of mafia foolishness it says? These people dress up in coat suit, toting pens, sitting in the House of Parliament, walking around, and we're calling them honorable while they steal from us. Bahamians, y'all better get it right.
Wow.
Get it right.
So,
It seems like we need to ask not where the VAT money went, where the NIB money went.
hmm, on the screen right now, guys, is documents from the Central Bank of the Bahamas. And so the FNM keep talking about this hedge they left in place, and if the government didn't do the hedge they left in place, the government did do the hedge, and but the problem with the hedge is that they are borrowing for the hedge, and so whatever um, monies you could have made from the hedge, you lose in interest payments. So if you saved 8 or 10% by doing a hedge to borrow the fuel, which means that you buy it at today's price and you keep it at today's price. So if it goes up, you save money, but if it goes down, you lose, right? Um, so, but the problem is you're paying interest on that because they're borrowing for the hedge, and that's what you're seeing here. All right, the BPL fuel hedge account. All right, so this is from January 2021 that you're looking at. I think that's, I see 1/1/2021. All right, that's the balance brought forward. And you can see that this was still under the Minister administration. And as you can see, the money on here, the small money. BPL spends $30 million at the time, $30 million a month on fuel. All you're seeing is 1.8 million here. There's 2 million here, right? This direct stuff from the Inter Development Bank. And so you're seeing these little small little transactions. But what these transactions appear to be is interest payments. All right. Um, on the head. So you're really making money. You're just getting yourself deeper in debt. This is another one. in 2021, still under them because it looks like this is in, yeah, so some of this is still under them. And you can see this small stuff. This appears all of it to be interest payments, all right, on it. And I can show you how I know that in a minute. I have the actual documents related to this. And as you can see, this is a central bank document, all right, never before seen. All right, so you can see where the money was going, how it was going. They got money and what they spent money on. All right, so it had 1.8, sorry, 5.1. You can see what it increased to and what it ended up being. I'm going to keep going through these. So again, this is back in Pinta them days, right? It's before Brave them took over. So you can see this small money. So they pay in the interest on the hedge, all right? Because they borrowing for the hedge, which is supposed to be an advantage. Let's keep going. Let me look at some more of these. There you go. More, see the small money, 1.8 here, 3 million there, when it's really supposed to be 30 million a month. You see, more of this nonsense. All right, you can see the balance brought forward and you can see what it goes to. So I just wanted you all to see this. All right. And here is the income statement of um, well, I have the whole monthly income statements of BPL and what they made every month. All right. So I have all of the documentation. As like I said, we know everything. The COI wasn't coming playing. We ain't like there for them asking them to answer questions. We didn't been had it. Now we wasn't gonna expose everything we have, and we still won't. But we have all of the documents related to this. So let me go into more modern times so you could see more recently these hedge accounts, and then I'm going to go to the actual documentation. You know what? Let me skip straight to that. Let's go. Where are we gonna go? Okay, there. All right. Let's go look at some documents. These people.
Bahamians, after this, we are going to look at the solution for our energy plan. And it's on the website. It's on the website for persons who are saying they're still waiting for the Coalition of Independence to roll out their energy reform plan. It has been on the site. It has been explained multiple times. It has been shared, and you can help share it too. Also, if you see something on that plan that you think can make it better, go to the website, add your ideas, place your views. We have a lot of talented people in this country. The Coalition of Independence was not the only party or the only group of people that helped put this energy plan together. A lot of our diasporas who are engineers, a lot of our educated people who are away and here locally helped cultivate this plan and put this plan together.
Okay, I hope everyone can see this. Um, Public Treasury Department, banking manager, and you can see this is from 26 October 2023. That's my birthday. What day was doing on my birthday? Um, and you can see account name. And so this is reference to the BPL $246 million Credit Suisse account. That means is a loan. All right. And the amount is $13 million they're talking about. And the principal is $9 million, and interest is $4 million just on this one transaction here. But it's reference to this $246 million thing and Credit Suisse, and this is the permission to make the payment. All right, they're making a payment of $13 million, which I believe is the interest on this. All right. And you can see there's Barbara Zonical, the acting treasurer, that's dealing with that. All right. Let me see if I can go back and stay on the same page. Um, I hope everyone could see it. Could they see it? You don't know if they could see that page? No, I don't think they could see it because it opened another page. Okay, they couldn't see it. Hold on one sec. But it's still on the first page. I'm so sorry about that. Um, and I couldn't see your comments. Go back to the first page. All right. I'm gonna have to share that differently. Okay, let me stop sharing because I want everyone to see this. I want you all to see these documents and these shocking documents from Menace era and from Brave Davis era. And you can see they I can't believe these people call themselves. Okay, let's see if this works. Okay, let's see if this works. And so I already showed the document. Let me go here. Okay, hopefully you can see it. So the Treasury Department, this is 2022. This is under them. This is 27 October. So the next day after what you saw, it says, Pennsylvania Bahamas, dear madam, please accept this letter as your authority to effect the below mentioned transfer for value the 27th of October 2023 to and it Bahamas government demand account. It says account number, etc. $13 million. All right. Um, reconciliation section. All right, and this demand that we believe was just the interest on this. All right, just the interest. So I think they can see, make sure they can see. Okay, yeah, that's working. Okay, they can see it. All right. Okay, go to another one of these. Yeah, transfer, credit. Hold on. All right. Let's see what this one is. Okay, that's the same thing. I want you to see one which says that this is just the interest that they paying on. Okay, we already looked at that. All right, we looked at that. Okay, hold on. Just give me one sec. Let me pull up one of these documents. I want you to see uh, where they're showing you that all they are paying on these hedges and on these loans is interest, and the amount of interest they are paying. For the amount of interest they are paying, we could have by far, we could have bought our solar grid and not have to be paying for any energy in this country. We could have been free based on the amount of nonsense that we've been paying for. But of course, we're stuck. We're stuck paying for these same loans, etc. That's destroying us. All right, let me see what I can pull up here. Oh, it's a journal. Hold on.
So, whilst our leader look for the documents, you're saying that the Bahamas can also be making monies from the cruise ship, depending on our energy reform plan, correct?
Yeah, I mean, it was said years ago that you could float a liquid natural gas power barge behind Arawak Key, and I believe I heard it recently repeated again by this government. Maybe someone can text and tell us. And that could create enough energy for New Providence, but it also could create enough to supply those cruise ships. So those cruise ships are not plugging into our electricity, and there's stuff it looks like they're burning generators in the day because smoke's coming out of their smokestacks all day. And are they allowed to do that in Florida? And so
No.
if we could sell them energy, but why wouldn't they take our energy? One, maybe we can't supply enough, but that's the solution to supply it. Number two, are they willing to pay what we pay for energy, understanding when they go to Florida, they get it for pennies? So you see, we have to have the real talk.
So, guys, watch this. Watch this. This is what BPL has been paying in interest payments, we believe. And again, all they got to do is give us our Freedom of Information Act, and we don't have to be worrying about this stuff. So, this is the Bahamas government demand deposits, um, balance brought forward. So, payment. You can see here. So payment made, this is August 27, 2024, $2.1 million. The same date, $6.8 million. The same date, $2.6 million. The same date, $3.1 million. So it seems to be a bunch of payments, that's registered to a total of it looks like drawdown to 16
16.
million, but it's $21 million. Oh, that's the balance brought forward, and to $21 million, right? Sorry, $16 million. And so these are their numbers. And so what they can do is they can come and explain these numbers to us so we could know exactly, what's going on with these numbers. Because all we can see is a bunch of bills for payment people. Okay, got some more here. So a bunch of bills for the Bahamian people. I watch this. This is an authorization letter. Okay, come on, open up, open up. Okay, so watch this. This is July 2021. So this under Minister. Please accept this letter as your authority to debit BPL under the $246 million credit, Swiss loan, whatever, for the value date 2021, and transfer the sum of $4.6 million as follows. So send $4.6 million to the Bank of New York, et cetera, et cetera. The account is Credit Suisse Agency Cayman account, reference to this $24.6 million credit agreement. And it says, kindly advise them that the payment of this amount represents interest on behalf of the government of the Bahamas. So all that money they just paid is just interest on the foolishness that they are doing. Because if they had bought solar, we wouldn't have to worry about constantly paying the $30 million. I wanted you all to see this. All right? And you see it's signed by the relevant persons. All right? This is the kind of nonsense that is going on in addition to what we just told you about. Let me pull up this other one. This is the same one, I think. It's another one.
This is the same.
No, it's a different one. October 2021 for $5 million. All right. And again, uh, advise that this just interest payments. See that? Just interest. $5 million they just paying back to back, just interest and interest and interest, and bogging us down in debt. And again, all of these that you see right here on your screen is more of them. And I mean, all we have here is documents that show these kind of stuff. Even all of the hedge fund nonsense that they've been doing and all the different amounts that they've been paying. We have all of these documents here, but because of time, I'm not going to go through all of these. We even have all the documents right here with BPL and NIB to show you exactly what's been going on there. But to sum this up for everyone listening to this, um, BPL, in my opinion, is a Ponzi scheme. It doesn't make any sense. And they are taking
Along with
from
anything.
us to charge us for what they're taking from us. All right? And the F&M and PLP is benefiting. That's why you don't get any results from it. And this is the change we need. The problem isn't that they can't get the technical stuff together. That's easy. Let me make this clear to you all. The amount of energy we need for this entire nation, but I'll say for the entire New Providence, which is most of the nation, the amount of energy we use, some neighborhoods in the US use that same amount of energy. You heard me had persons on my live that said that they have warehouses, AI and other server websites, crypto website, I'm sorry, not websites, servers, warehouses that use more electricity than our whole country uses. And they're able to do that. They never have a blackout. They can't. It's a server. They are able to do that and generate the amount of electricity they need. It's like nothing. The neighbors in China, neighborhoods that use electricity that more electricity than we use in our entire country, and they can't get that right. They talking about a power station at Clifton and a power station at Blue Hill Road, you know. They ain't talking about no big operation. They it's just that they are
So, Mr. Bain, and that's what's so confusing to me. Our nation is a small nation. Yes, we have an archipelago. It's an archipelago nation, but based on what our research, based on our research and research of others, we need an energy mix designated for this archipelago nation. And the Coalition of Independence has those plans. So I am excited to hear you start
so let's
speaking
talk about
about
the
it again for
solutions.
those,
Awesome. Let's talk about
yes,
solutions.
for those who are
So,
eager
because
to
people
hear
are
about it.
asking, well, what y'all would have done different if y'all was in? Because they dumb us down to make us seem like the solution must take years and you can't get nothing done. And you see other countries are doing it, but they make it seem like it's so impossible for us. It's because they're benefiting from the way it is. Now, we released our 100-day plan for energy, and we'll explain it some more here. Well, the first thing we would have done, we needed a quick solution. And there are companies, more than one, but one in particular, with a barge solution that could have brought a barges in to New Providence, that everything is already set up and ready to go. The engines are there, etc. And we would have been able to get electricity for cheaper than we are getting it now. All right, far cheaper. So the barges could have come to the Clifton area, one of them, another barge to the Awaki area of New Providence, and we could have even put another one in the southeastern part of well, the Defense Force Base in that area, and also Clifton area. And we actually have a marina that we could have used in the southwestern area, in the area of Hana Road area, where you could put another barge if you needed to. But you don't even need all of these barges because we don't have that much demand, to be honest with you, to use all of them. Just letting you know what the possibilities are. These barges would have come in, and they were actually willing to change the entire grid for free. We didn't have to pay no one. We didn't have to partner with no one. They were willing to pay for the entire grid for free if we had, I think, just 5 years. Promise them to buy from them power for 5 years. That's it. All right, and they would have changed our entire grid because that's where most of our leakage is from the grids, which takes 50% of our energy uh, right off the bat. And so that would have solved a big
Mr. Bain,
problem.
that sounds like something that could have fit in a 100-day plan.
Yes, in less than 100 days, within a month, they would have been here and set up. And so we would not have had the blackouts for summer. All right. They would have been here, set up, and generating the proper energy that we need while they were fixing the grid. Okay. And so problem would have been solved. But of course,
Again, what do you call that type of solution?
well, that they are just barges, and so they are temporary solutions. You can make them permanent, but they are temporary solutions where you put them in the ocean to give you the power. Well, not in the ocean, and at the port, and they're set up there, and they can give you the power that you need on land to power your country, well, our island. And so that's the temporary solution to solve the problem quickly. While we were doing that, we would have already made the arrangements to use our carbon credits to benefit from solar. We would have cashed in on that and not had to have any loans or borrowing, etc. These idiots are borrowing $500 million to do LNG. That could have given us enough solar alone to power this entire country and have enough to sell to neighboring countries. All right?
So, Mr. Bain,
Idiots.
before you go on, the 500 million
Yes, to put a
for the L
LNG in
for the
Clifton Pair.
so the 500 million for LNG, is this something that the Bahamian people will have to pay back?
Yes. You're going to pay it
Okay.
from a fuel, more fuel surcharge that goes directly to Focal because the loan is going through Focal. All right. And so, Jesus.
You
And
could have
so,
rented you could have rented that LNG power barges for pennies compared to that, and then
Yes.
used the real money to put it in something that gave you a return on the investment, the solar.
but they are trying to do everything to make sure that the money goes through Focal to benefit the FNM and PLP so they continue to have money to spend on elections to fool the people. All right. And
Can I
while we
ask you
some,
one can I ask you one
of
quick
course,
question,
of
Mr. Bain?
course.
We've had official oppositions from 1973, correct?
Hmm.
Why have none of them said anything you've said already or about to say?
Because they are all benefiting from all of the issues that we're having, both the FNM and PLP. Don't mind them pretending to fight each other. They are benefiting together. All right. So now the barge was a temporary situation where you bring the barge in, problem solved. In New Providence, no load shedding because you have more than enough power generation you need. So in the meantime, as I said, we would have used our carbon credits to purchase, and other countries are doing everything that we're saying right now. All right. Use our carbon credits to purchase solar. Now, how would we do this quickly? We would have had 24-hour a day, as we've said, billing. So you don't just work from 9 to 5. We have shifts like Atlantis did and broke the world record for billing a building that size. We would have had shifts where there's 3 shifts and you are working constantly to build solar. Why? Because it's a national emergency. We depend on energy. And so it would have been important enough to do that. And so we would have 24-hour shifts of billing the solar grid. The physical part would have been done. We would put solar where we need to put it in different areas that we've already identified. And we would have purchased the solar instead of from China, which will take months to get it to ship here. We would have bought the solar panels from in America. All right. We've already identified possible persons that we could have gotten them from, or given the contracts to our Bahamian persons to source the funds over there. Because we it's not coming from government money, is from carbon credits. So we have the source from the United States, so we can get this stuff instantly in a matter of here, in a matter of weeks instead of months. And of course, brought them in and started the building. We would have also built out in sections. So we wouldn't have waited until the whole solar grid was finished in order to go live. And so we would have identified sections and have solar in those sections, and not just cutting down trees to do solar plants. We would have had partnerships with Bahamians, for example, in the Carmichael area, which has the majority of the population of the Bahamas. We would have been using persons' roofs, and they would have gotten the free electricity, and they would have been able to sell electricity back. So, for space, for those kinds of areas, we would have been leasing the roofs of everyday Bahamians to be able to get the space instead of cutting down trees in any particular area. And then we would have been generating solar. That solar would have enough electricity for those persons and enough to sell back to hotels. All right. Um, you have question?
Yeah, so what you just said, Mr. Bain, that also comes to proper town planning. You spoke about expanding the rooftops for solar, for homes to have solar. Right now, the government is building more homes, building new communities. Where is the proper town planning for that? We see how we are functioning now with energy. They're talking about energy reform. So don't you think that the homes, the schools, the clinics, the government buildings, all of them should be able to accommodate solar? This who's responsible for town planning? You know what, Mr. Bean? When we start talking about these ministries, we need to start calling every single name out, from the member of parliament to the permanent secretary to the directors. We need to call out the board. We need to start calling out all of these people, because these people are sitting at the helm of our country making stupid decisions that is causing the Bahamian people unnecessary debt. And this is the debt that is going to take over, that we are going to carry over to our children that are unborn. So I just thought that I should throw that
Can
out
I
there.
can I ask a question? How much money did we pay to put solar at the national stadium?
Well, one of the Middle Eastern countries donated that.
Hmm?
They donated about $1 million for that. I think it was, or 1.3, something like that, to do that, and that gave us a megawatt.
So under, if you go and look under that stadium, there are control boxes, and I sent a picture of one totally burnt up. So how is that even working if the control is burnt up?
It's not. It's just a flam right now.
So we're
All right.
serious about 2030 with 30%. That when that was even said decades ago, I said that's ridiculous. You should have a goal of 150%. You may achieve 80. If you set the goal at 30%, are you going to achieve 3%? That's
Yeah.
setting the bar so low.
Yes. And so, to give them continue with our solutions, we would have started neighborhood by neighborhood in New Providence, section by section, not just neighborhood, more than just a neighborhood, section by section in New Providence, and had enough solar energy to power all of them. All right, that's just the solar part of it. And so,
At
as
no
soon as
at no cost, at no cost to the citizen.
at no cost, because we would have used carbon credits for it.
So
All
that would
right.
have been the free electricity that we heard about in 2016.
Yes, but they never delivered it. But we would
Yeah.
have delivered it. And the Philippines is using carbon credits to build solar and that kind of stuff. So it can be done. All right. It's just that because they're benefiting, they don't want to talk about this, and they just want to vilify us, to of course not let you get what you deserve. On top of solar, for New Providence, we've also been using hydro. There's a lot of power that goes through the Nassau Harbor, a lot of power under the bridge. And we would have put the turbines there and used it to collect energy, sell it to the cruise ships, which would have benefited us. And we would have been making carbon credits in addition to what we make from them for them buying it. And so would have been a double income for us from the carbon credits, and carbon credits would have paid for that. All right, and we would have sold that to them instead of just using LNG, which you still have to buy constantly as you deplete it. And so that would have been a solution. We also showed you, and we interviewed persons from the United States who were sitting waiting for the COI to win so that we could do what we had to do, where there's solutions using water to make energy. All right, and it was going to be able to power the ferries that we were talking about. But the process that they use to make the hydrogen fuel makes the purest water in the world. All right, and you would have been able to get water, also hot water, so free hot water going to your house. All right, from the stations that we would have put up on the Family Islands initially, free hot water going to your house, water going to your house, and energy from this hydrogen going to your home. So you got three things in one, just like that. And so it would have reduced the load on the grid because hot water causes a lot of load on the grid. And so getting the hot water from this natural process would have reduced a lot of that load on the grid. Also, we would have been setting up district cooling systems. All right. And so the stuff we talk about in New Providence already, the solar, we'd have been working 24 hours a day, and we gave the plan already to show how it would have been done. And so immediately the barge would have come in. We'd have had the relief right now. By end of the year, we'd have been going live with the first sets of solar. And so neighborhoods would have been going live by the end of this year. And by next summer, we'd have had enough, we believe, to power all of New Providence, for example. We would have put enough manpower to make sure that it happened, and they would have been working 24 hours a day to solve this national crisis that we have. It is doable. Atlantis built in 18 months. We could have built solar in about a year. We could have done that. All right. And when I say year, I mean final, because you start with one area, then the next area, the next area, based on how they're set up. So we'd also done the district cooling system. The district cooling system would have reduced the load on the grid by 50%. And this is happening around the world right now, especially the Middle East countries. And we've shown you videos and documentation to show you how this would be done. Bahama is running with a district cooling system. That means that cold air is generated, and that cold air goes into your air conditioning system, and the wind blows over the cold water. I said it's a cold air. Cold water is generated, and that cold water runs through your system, your cooling system, and it can generate straight to your houses, straight to your mall. They do it to Bahama right now. Across the street, they have a district cooling system, and it gives you free cool air. And you didn't even know that what they have in Bahama was a district cooling system where cold water is used to cool that place, and you were never hot in Bahama. And so they do it in the Middle East where their temperatures go over 100 regularly, and they keep the whole entire nation cool, but it doesn't cost a lot of electricity. And so we would have started this immediately, starting with more of the planned neighborhoods where people are close together. So just like we pipe regular water to every house, we would have been piping the district cooling system, cool air to everybody's house, and that would have taken the load off of the grid so that we don't need as much we don't if naturally they need 400 megawatts, you wouldn't need 400 megawatts, you need 200. So if you needed 300 megawatts, you don't need 300, you need 150. And so that takes down the amount of solar panels that you need because of the district cooling system alone, along with the hot water systems that we could have put in place with this hydro thing with the ferries, etc., which could have also been done in New Providence. And so these kind of stuff could have given you a proper solution right now, instantly, with enough manpower, working 24 hours, paid for by carbon credits. But do you see the amount of loans that they are borrowing? Any of those loans could have paid for all of this. The 500 million could have paid for all of this and more. But they want you to think that everything is impossible. So we just showed you how we would have solved this problem. And the last phase, Graham, and now that you and then we go open the phone lines too. The last phase would have been to put our entire grid underground so that we don't have to worry about all the repairs, etc., during storms, etc. The entire grid, every single piece of it, goes underground. All right, and that's how we solve all of the problem with the wastage in the power system. So first, once we repair the grid initially by for free from the person that came in the barge, we reduce the cost by 50%, the wastage by 50%. The district cooling system reduces that by another 50%. And so you see how it brings down what is to a minuscule amount, what is actually needed to power your country. We could do this, man. Go ahead, Graham.
No, and not to mention the tons of jobs and what I prefer careers in this industry. Um, People don't even understand. You have people that go around and make good money cleaning a pool. There are people that go around and clean solar panels and make good money. So something as simple as that, moving right up to the people who maintain the systems. And this is where we could have transitioned a lot of people at the power company, because a lot of times when things happen, they let people go. But you don't have to let anyone go. You could actually hire more people because you're going to do these things throughout every island. And it is in great detail on the COI's website. You should give out that coibahamas.com so that people can go and look at it. Because I've heard over and over, you guys didn't have a plan. And I'm like, we sat there on lives, and you did, showing in great detail. But the information given out tonight showed you the quick fix and the long term solution. And I've not heard this in 53 years from anybody besides this party, which people say, why did you join the COI? Well, there's the reason. I mean, nobody knew to come and say these things. They know about the technologies. And it's not just that we speak about it, we've actually done it. I have an electric car, and people say you're on a scooter. I have an electric scooter, and these things charge from solar, off grid. So, do we keep putting in these ministers that don't live it? A lot of them are lawyers and whatever else. what do they know about it? So I think we're putting the wrong people in the wrong place. And the COI was taking people that understood certain areas and putting them in those areas. But we can continue to do what we're doing. But if we don't address that grid that is almost reached full capacity, this isn't going to look good, because remember, the hot months ain't reached yet.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, you can call in. The number is right there, 803-5995. 803-5995 is the number. Call us in and join this conversation. Go ahead, Miss Green.
Yeah, so to piggyback off of what my colleague said, Mr. Weatherford, he believed by saying that, maybe we're putting the wrong people in the wrong place. We have a lot of, I'm not talking about the members of parliament, but we have a lot of experienced people in this country, and a lot of experienced people are sitting in some of these ministries, but they're being overshadowed by these corrupt politicians and their corrupt foundation. I have, like I said, I have yet to hear of any minister, member of parliament, PLP or FNM talk about the diversity of our energy or energy reform. You just mentioned, Mr. Bain, ocean and hydro energy. You mentioned solar energy. You mentioned energy concerning wind. You mentioned all of these things, and all of these things are basically inside our plan. Then you have wasted energy, wasted energy. You also have things like biomass and bioenergy, battery storage. We have all of these things, and all of these things can create careers, high paying careers in the country, while giving the people reliable and sustainable service. But here's the thing, we can no longer blame the members of parliament. As a people, we are
Hold
well
line
versed.
for
We are well read. We know what's going on other parts of the world. We know what type of energy can be had. So we need to tell our member of parliament for a sea breeze. Listen, when you go into the House of Parliament, I need you to table a bill. I need you to start talking about energy reform in the form of biomass energy, in the form of solar energy. We could send our member of parliament for Pine Wood. When you go, come back off of your vacation, based on what was going on in this country, you all need to go into the house and talk about energy reform. I want to hear something like wasted wasted energy, service. I want to hear something about solar. Okay, I want to hear something about wind. Let's start talking, having real conversations in this country. Y'all can't have the real conversations because y'all stealing from the Bahamian people, and we got to call it for what it is, Bahamian people. They are thieves in coat suit. Call them for what they are. Replace the honorable with thieves in coat suit. We need to start holding these people accountable and stop praising these politicians. I am telling you, even under the COI government, there are policies that are going to be put in place for you to hold Lincoln Bean accountable, for you to hold a Graham Weatherford accountable. They need to start paying for their sins and crimes concerning the Bahamian people. But again, like Graham Weatherford said, visit the website, the COI Bahamas website. All of these plans for energy reform, how it's going to be done, what it is going to take for us to do this, it is on the website. It can be done, my fellow Bahamians. It can be done. Mr. Bain?
Even the time frame for doing it was there. The first 100 days, what you could expect, etc. But why would you cut down a whole field of trees that we know are needed for the climate not to change? And you may pay a carbon fine for that. Why would you cut down a whole field of trees when you have all these rooftops in just Pinewood alone that you've already cut down trees to build a house? Why don't just put the solar there
that
on
is
each one?
correct. Let's go to the phone lines. Uh, Call you live. Go ahead.
Hey, Mr. Ben, what you saying? All is well?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that's Joey here.
Hey, Joey.
So, quick question for you. Hey, Mr. Prime Minister has been informing people that we're going through the same crisis every year. We have been going through issues like it's been hot. The heat has been demanding, and on the power. There's a lot of demand on the power grid and all this kind of stuff. If we have the cooler months, so say like we go into the cooler months, that's when there's less demand on the energy system. Why in the world they wait until next year to have the same excuse instead of pre-planning for next year?
They like it the way it is. They benefit. They make money from it the way it is, and so they're not going to change anything. They make money from machines breaking down. I keep telling everyone that every time that machine, the generator breaks down, you cry, but they celebrate because more money is going to get made from having to fix that and provide fuel, etc. Not fuel, parts for the generators, etc.
Yeah, yeah, because he's now going to say we're going through a lot of growing pains and all this kind of stuff or whatever. And I see him there
That's
in
50
BPL.
years of growing pains.
50 years, and that's a little long, man. That's a little long with
Yeah,
that
it's
suffering.
it's
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 like this.
ridiculous. We could have had this problem solved immediately. We gave the temporary solution for this summer, and by next summer we would have had this country with a new grid that when I say that I mean power generation. But the biggest sin that they've committed, I didn't even get to talk about that yet, was that legally, and I've shown you the law and the documentations on this already, the Bahamian Republic, you cannot sell BEC. They have law that BEC cannot be sold. All right. And they cannot even edit
Mm,
that. They cannot modify that. I did a live and I showed the exact law that speaks to that. That's why they created BPL so they could do skullduggery. So it's like if
mm,
your father leaves you his restaurant and says he's leaving that to you on the condition that you can never sell that restaurant. So what you do is you go in there and you sell everything that can make money in the restaurant. You go in there and sell the kitchen to someone. The waiters giving out the waiters who delivering. You say, okay, y'all waiters, y'all get paid separate. I can sell y'all the waiting of the food. The people out there parking the cars, I can sell y'all the valet, and so y'all can make the money from the valet. I ain't selling the restaurant. I just selling everything the restaurant does. So that's what they did with BPL. They sold the generation of power. So they allowed Focal, and first it was Watsilla, and I heard them saying, oh, they got rid of Watsilla. Watsilla shouldn't have been there in the first place. It's nonsense.
mm.
Why do you have to
It's a
bring a
nightmare.
middleman in there to use our facilities to generate electricity to sell it to us? That is the stupidest thing ever. And to hear the F&M talking stupidness about, oh, they got rid of the Watsilla deal. What kind of deal was that? If there's a middleman, you cannot benefit from that. You have to do it yourself. Cut the middleman out. Wärtsilä should have never been there. We are quite capable of generating our own electricity. You have to look for the under the table deals to see why they're doing these stuff. So what they did was Wärtsilä had a lot of it under the F&M, so maybe they had some friendship with them. And then when the PLP came in, they made sure Focal got in there and got more of the generators. All right, so I have pictures and images of their generation and what they've been doing. I think I'll show it to the people in a second. And that's what they really did. So they are making the money from selling us the fuel and then using that same fuel that we bought in the generators to generate the electricity. So we paid for the fuel, they generate the electricity and then selling it back to us. All right, using our facilities. This is so stupid.
So I have another question for you. What purpose is Clifton Pair serving? Because if one electrical outage can cause by one transformer, what's the purpose of having Clifton Pair there for?
Say it again. I can't hear what you're saying.
Yeah, so what's the sole purpose of Clifton Pair? Because they say that one transformer caused a whole island-wide blackout. So they say it caused a whole island-wide blackout,
Yeah,
and
most
it went blackout at the BPL power at the Blue River Power's plant. What purpose is Clifton Pair serving?
they're saying that both of them generate the energy for our entire nation, and so one of them going down shouldn't block out the whole island. All right, I mustn't say nation. I mean island. One of them shouldn't block out the whole island. But it shows you that they're lying because if you say you had a problem at Clifton Pier, Blue Hill is still up. Why is the whole island blacked out? It makes no sense. It's like this Fauci
Yeah.
thing again. Nothing is adding up, and that's why we gotta get serious with this.
Okay then.
All
Thank you so
right.
much, Mr. Bailey.
Thanks for the great questions. caused me to remember to touch on some of the things that we haven't that I didn't get to touch on. Eight zero
Do
three
you,
five 995. Okay.
do you remember Blue Hill Road a few years ago had
Hello.
80?
Okay.
Do you
Go
remember
ahead.
Blue Hill Road a few years ago? I filmed it. Had 80 20-foot containers, what appeared to look like generator in each one. Why would you do that and not just put in one or two big generators? Why would you put 80 little 20-foot containers with a smokestack coming out each one?
It's crazy. It's crazy. It makes zero sense. Um, it makes
Do
zero
they
sense.
do they burn more fuel than having a big slow turning turbine or
Graham,
engine?
none of it makes any sense.
But today you
None of it.
explain today you
We
explained
can't
it, it
even begin to try to make sense of the things that they're doing. All right.
but
They are only trying to make money for themselves.
today you explained it makes dollars, not just cents.
It makes lots and lots of dollars, and that's why we continue to suffer. I think I have some video of the generators. Go ahead, Miss Green.
Okay, so under the COI, can the Bahamian people look forward to
Hold on, I'm calling.
each of the major islands having its own resilient energy plan? Because I think different islands will call for different types of sustainable energy service. I am sure not all of us are going to be on the same plan. Yes? No?
For the most part, we'll have solar, hydro, and hydrogen on all of these
Yes.
islands. All right. Some islands don't need as much, so hydrogen can give the power that they need on the smaller islands. So they didn't need solar on Ragged Island like they did. They didn't need that. Hydrogen could have given them all of the power, plus the hot water, plus the
But
water source that they need. That would have solved all of the problems there.
Mr. Bain, can I ask a quick question about Ragged Island? We spent, I was it $3 million we spent for solar, and
Um,
it's nowhere near the homes. It's out in a field somewhere. It's only
yeah.
40 homes or so. Why didn't we just put a $10,000 solar panels and Tesla battery on each home? That would have been 400,000.
I'm showing them I'm showing them, this is in BPL's and they have species that that's making us. Instead of us making money from it, we're allowing these other people to make the money from it, and we are paying for it. We are suffering because we are letting them use our facility to get that done. There was some F&Ms who wanted me to state that when they got in, the grease was very thick on the floor, and they cleaned the grease from the floor, which they did. But we still had the blackout problems, which is more of a major problem. Let me take this call and then show you some more of what actually is happening in there, how Focal and Wasilla is doing all the generation and making all the money, stealing from the Bahamian people. Even the solar, I told you all they were going to let Focal invest in the solar so they would make the free money from the solar instead of us investing in it and getting that discount or free energy. Call you live. Go ahead.
Hello, good evening. How are everyone?
Everyone is good.
Okay, it's such a pleasure to hear Brother Graham and Lincoln, the president and the greatest chairman any political party ever has seen and heard. Let me say this. Let's come to the point. We have a system that is run and was designed and is run by criminals. The Bible talk about the power of money, greed. Now, my understanding and talked with my son, and he said Nova Scotia in Canada runs with hydroelectric. You know, that's the name. They get electricity from the ocean. With
Yes.
over 1.1 million person living in Nova Scotia. You know, the reason why we don't have the things that the COI presented and Graham talked about and the press and the chairman and we all talk about is because of the criminal mindset and the greed. You see, greed, when a person has that spirit of greed, they don't check for nothing in the country. They don't check for the people in the country. They don't care what happened in the country. All they are interested in is getting money, the more they can get. And I think you said, I think the government pays what? Frankie Wilson, Sun Oil or BPL, something like over $30 million per month.
For fuel,
And
yes.
that, yeah. And you know, it's amazing. We as Bahamian, I blame us. Let me say I blame us. We are sometimes become numbskulls. I always say about we ought to be operating with the highest degree, which is the degree of common sense. And we don't apply common sense. We sit back and allow these criminals, these criminal politicians, these criminal businessmen what's his name, Frankie, them who runs these. I mean, they just take the Bahamian for granted. They are actually hogs when it comes to money. And that spirit of greed is a serious thing. I mean, you know what I suggest, Mr. Bain, and all of you in the Bahamian who is listening to this? All of us should stand and don't pay no light bill for this month. I know it's hard. Stand up and say, you know, we were off the grid. We was getting our stuff was destroyed and we had no light. We suffered and we're going to stand. We're not going to pay no light bill for this month. We must demand that we must get this month free and don't pay none. And if every Bahamian would stand up and say, you know what, let me just suffer that. I'm not going to pay. And we come together. And what we need to do, Mr. Bain, we need to come together as a people. There's something called a PIA, you know, in law. But it means that the people, we can come together with a class, with a law, class C. I mean,
Class action lawsuit.
class action lawsuit. And come against and file it in the courts. But the courts even corrupt. These
Yeah.
people wouldn't give you a day to present a case if it's coming against the corrupt government of the BLP.
Let me tell you what happens. Let me tell you what happens when you don't pay. If you don't pay, and that's a great idea. But let me tell you what they can do. They can still borrow whatever they lost from you not paying or delaying them getting paid. They can still go and take it from your NIB or take it from you by increasing electricity in some other way. They're still gonna take it back from you. We gotta overthrow these corrupt, evil people and get rid of them. Bahamians have to stand up.
I agree with you 100%. But another thing what Bahamian do know, because I went Bradley Roberts, Bradley sometimes, he pushing wood now, toting wood. This heavy is he toting wood. But the point is, I stood up to him. This was a couple of years before that Tokol affair, and God rest his soul. Another thing, Mr. Bain, you ever thought about this? When you go to turn on your light, you have to put down a deposit, the light deposit. I think mine's was $230. That deposit money does not belong to the BC.
No.
I asked Bradley Roberts, and we got something, and I challenged him. I said, listen, who benefits from that? That's security. Every number of billions of dollars they have in security, that's supposed to be the special cover.
That's a Ponzi scheme.
Right. Who's benefiting from our security deposit? We should go to them and say we demand our security deposit.
They're getting interest on it, and we get nothing.
Right. And right now, you know what it is? Like, just like if you go and rent an apartment, you have to put your security down. Your security deposit doesn't belong to the landlord. It belongs to the person. If they're putting it for security for the landlord, if any damages or what. But these are causing damages to us.
Yes.
Okay? They were causing damages to us. And what we need to do in this country, but boy, if I had a whip, I would have gone to Parliament and whipped some Graham Davis. These guys, don't I call them guys, man? And most of all, I never close a conversation without putting these religious leaders in the conversation. These religious leaders in this country is no good. I'm saying this, and I'm saying this with godly indignation, my belly. The religious leaders in this country, they worse than the politicians.
Yeah.
Okay? If they have influence, Mr. President, they have influence, they can tell and say, bring those persons, the leaders again, say, listen, what they're doing in this country, they're supposed to be, I hope Moxie, who now is a Christian, comes to that. He will stand and have some integrity. Mr. Moxie, show your integrity. Bring real people together, real leaders, talk to the congregation, and let us shut this country down. This country
Many of them don't know the issues. They're focused on building their church. Some of them do, but these kinds of issues, there's never been the kind of enlightenment in this nation's history like what the COI has brought to the public. It has never happened before. And we're going to put a lot of these documents on our new website in a section called Freedom of Information Act, just so you can get searched through them. We're going to try to do it in a way that you can search through it easily and find whatever documents you want, because they won't give us the documents. But we have millions of documents on BEC and water and sewage and everything else out there. And so we're gonna start putting them out there. But no one had this information. But once you get it, it's time to stand up. But we got to go call, all right?
Okay, Mr. Bean, and I locked them 1 second. One thing, our security deposit, that's entitled, and if your light bill is not above your security deposit, they can't cut your line on because they're holding your security deposit. They can't cut it off because they're holding security.
They shouldn't be able to. Thank you. That is true. You got to run. God bless. Call your line. Go ahead.
And good evening, your guest,
Good evening.
Mr. Rutherford. Good evening, Bahamas. Derek Benjamin, the Merrick Jr. here. Mr. Bean, I like the idea of what it is you're doing because, like you just stated, it has never been done this way before, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you are addressing, you and your team are addressing what I call a culture decode in the Commons of the Bahamas.
Mm-hmm.
The way we think, the way we see things, what we believe, you understand, right? And on top of that, we do have social decay in the Bahamas. And so, with respect to the culture decay, right, and how you're addressing it, it takes some time, but it's the real true fix. That's why no one else ever addressed it this way. You understand? Because if the Bahamian people really, really get it, you understand, then the problem will be solved. You understand? Because now you're addressing their mental capacity. Are you hearing me?
Yes.
Right? The social decay now speaks to policy and so on and so forth. It's more of a quicker fix and whatever, and that's fine. You will get there, right? But I just want you to know that don't get weary in well doing, okay? Because you're really making an impact, and at the end of the day, the Bahamian people are learning. It'll take some time, but I see the numbers growing, so that's good. Now, this situation with respect to NIB is very, very, very disturbing because if NIB is taking a hit, Mr. Bain, Miss Green, and Weatherford, that means the Bahamian people taking a hit.
Yeah.
You understand? And so when we consider, the purpose of our monies, it's more of a trust fund for the Bahamian people. You understand?
Mm.
Towards the various things for us. You understand? Medical benefits, short-term benefits. You understand? Pensions and different things like that. Unemployment benefits, funeral grants, so on and so forth. Now, they use the money because, again, it goes there and it's still there as an investment because you can remember now, Bahamas, you got customs, you got inland revenue as one. That's the largest body that collected this money. Next is NIB. NIB sits on billions of dollars with a B.
Yes.
You understand where it's coming from? That's our money. You see? And so for them to be taking our money for ages, investing the money, Mr. Bain, but not bringing back a return is a real problem inside this
Investing
country.
in their own companies. Criminals.
Yes. And they are not bringing back a return. See, my thing is this. Okay, if you can take the money, politicians, right? And you say, okay, we can use the loophole and we can invest it. You understand where I'm coming from? Please put the money back. You understand where I'm coming from? Oh, with some profit. Some. You understand where I'm coming from? Don't just take from us and take from us, man. That's very dangerous because what you're doing then, Mr. and Mrs. Politician, you are robbing generations that have not been voided yet in the commons of the Bahamas. You understand where I come from? Then on top of that, you're taking the money and you giving it to these people and focal them to buy fuel, this and that, and BPL them and all this going on and different things and that. You're really mashing up the Bahamian people, man. These people are very, very cold and wicked and evil. To be doing that. You understand where I'm coming from? But I just wanted to put that in there because at the end of the day, it is very evil to do that to the Bahamian people with respect to our NIB money. You understand? Our sweat equity. It is slavery. We're getting hit all around, and we're paying all around, and these politicians eating way around the table. You understand? The gentleman just came on, he was talking about the spirit of greed and different things with rain. You understand where you're coming from? And so at the end of the day, I really could appreciate what you have accomplished so far, Mr. Bain, like you said, right? No one have really addressed it this way because they know once you do it this way with respects to, right, dealing with the real issue, which is the culture decay, how the people think, what we going to believe, how we think, how we hear and see. Wisdom is the ability to recognize difference. You understand where I'm coming from? The difference in good and bad.
All right, we got to run though. We got other people trying to call in.
Okay.
All right, thanks for your call. Caller, just hold the line one sec. I just want to show you all a video. We talked about NIB just now. I want to remind you that we did a whole expose on NIB also, and we're going to release a lot of these stuff. And they also bought derelict mansions or old mansions with our NIB money that they had no plan to do nothing with. It seemed like politicians put stuff in their own name and then let NIB buy it to suck money out of NIB. And we were in front of myself and Maria Daxon in front of the mansion, one of them a few years ago, and we were showing that the documents had Hubert Ingram on it, and Hubert Ingram's son just happened to pull up and said, no, Hubert and Perry, all them doing this stuff together. Because we was telling them, look, your daddy name on this, you're going to benefit from this. And he's like, you don't want it. Because I guess he sees the corruption that has been going on. So let me just play this quickly before we continue. I want to remind you of this. And there's some people who just started watching us now, so they don't realize a lot of the exposés that we've done. They've never watched our documentaries. They don't know the kind of information that we've putting out there. They've just started watching us during this political season. This is taking a minute to download. It's going to take a minute to download. So I'm going to take the call in the meantime, and it just will pop up in the middle of the call. Caller, you live. Go ahead.
Good night, Mr. Ben. When's that?
Right here, man.
Hey, you know the story from Mr. Ben. There's no politician in that House of Assembly worked as hard as me in this country. I have worked on every big project this country has. Everyone. Atlanta, South Ocean, Unity, Mushiki Park, Isniki, only being the supervisor down to the Chinese park. Okay? I've a lot of hard work in this country, Mr. Ben. I paid national insurance $20 to $19 to $20 a week for 44 years. I took an early retirement. These people only gave me $400. Mr. Ben, what $400 could do for me?
It's ridiculous.
Huh?
It's ridiculous.
That's it, man. It's sickening, man. It's sickening. It may do something drastic. Because $400 can't, if you have to pay rent, it can't be no rent. It can't, it just barely buy food for you. What $400 can't feed a man for a week?
No.
The whole month?
No.
$400 can't do it. That's sick, man. That's sick.
Yeah.
Another thing, Mr. Bain, you just keep talking to be to put these people out, man. You gotta get them out, man. They don't sit and relax, Mr. Bain. They don't have plans for the next election. They don't know how to win. They didn't know what to do. They didn't know how to steal the election. So you think they ain't gonna try it again? Just saying, what you think, what you think we should do, what we need to do to get rid of them. That's my question.
And you want me to say it publicly?
No, I mean,
All right.
I would really, really, really like to know what we need to do to get rid of these people. You
All
know?
right.
Yeah.
Stay tuned. Thanks for your call,
Yeah.
man.
All right.
That's why doubling the seniors' pension was so important, Mr. Bain.
Yeah, definitely. The seniors' pensions would have doubled immediately. All right, we got a caller, another caller while the video is uploading. Caller, you live. Go ahead.
Yeah, good afternoon to you, Mr. Bean, and your whole entire crew.
Yes.
Listen, I called because it's a touching situation in reference to us as behemoths. When it comes to a bag of cement is like almost $24, $25. A bag of mortar mix is about almost the same, $26. I don't see the sun for the smoke when it comes to behemoths in this country.
Mm-hmm.
You just was here the other day in Freeport in reference to Bahama Rock with the saga. And it was kind of upsetting to me to see the manager of Bahama Rock doesn't have anything in place for small people in this country. And we have people who've been on the house from 2019 in Grand Bahama, and these brothers them cool. I remember when it used to be island construction. You could go down there in a one-ton truck and put your peel off or your cracker dust on. These brothers them really, really and truly looking for us not to have that in this country.
Yeah, that's what they're doing.
You know what I mean?
They keep the poor so they can stay in control.
Listen to me, Mr. Dan, I applaud you for coming over because I know a lot of these people who work in that establishment, they're not happy, right? I mean, these guys asked me to bill a piece for my truck. I bill it. I've been buying stuff from them. I have my receipt, and all of a sudden they just put me to a hug. And you can imagine how much other people, probably in a worse condition than I.
Wow.
You know what I mean? When we call this the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, and we need to look at every individual who's trying. Some are going to make it, and some aren't going to make it, but we have to be there for all. And I want to say thanks to you and your partners for taking the time to educate the Bahamian people, because trust me, a lot of us are lost, but now we are finding our way, and thanks for taking my call.
Yeah. All right. God bless. Yeah, we got to do something. We can't just sit back and let this place continue to be the way it is. That video, I think we got to wrap up now. Anything you guys want to add before we wrap up?
Oh, it's very easy. Freeport's a gold mine, by the way, for that last caller. We just haven't had anybody with the testicular fortitude to come over there and fix it. And that's fine. You might get it one day. But with energy security, affordability, reliability, and sustainability, which could have been achieved within first year or so, not 2 terms, and would have definitely started where you could have visibly seen, and you had the list of what would have been done in the time frame in the first 100 days.
Hold the line, caller.
So, I'm just sad tonight that Marsh Harbor and parts of New Providence have no light.
Wow. And I just want to remind everybody that we're having the Soup and South out tomorrow from 7 a.m. until 12 p.m. We're going to be here, so come and support the movement. You got to eat anyway, so come out on your holiday and come out and support the movement. We'll be here. I'll be here. Mr. Green and others will be here. And come out and support us. The soup is going to be fabulous. The chefs are doing it. The sauce is going to be fabulous. So come out and be here. I'm going to eat every type of sauce. I sample in everything. I'm eating every type of soup. So come out and support the movement and be a part of what we're doing. I'm going to take one more call. This is the last call that we can take now. Call you live. Go ahead.
Good afternoon, Mr. Bean. How you doing, sir?
Awesome.
All right, thanks for all this. Joy, blessing. Mr. Bean, I have a problem in our house now, so Bahamas, man.
What's happening?
I would like everyone to know is that the African people running the Chinese business, Chinese people running the liquor, the Haitian people running the food, the Jamaican people running the music. Every day they're taking over the construction, the mechanics. I know for the Bahamians lazy, but you can't see every day a different shop just popping up. Chinese, Asian, Chinese, Asian.
Well, I think that's a simple solution. You just got to get rid of the PLP and F&M. Because we're not going to tolerate that. We're going to encourage Bahamians to do business, and we're going to make sure that you're in a position to do business, so that we solve those problems. So, but if we keep voting for people who take in bribes from the foreigners, they take bribes from the Chinese, they ain't take it from you to have liquor store. All right. And yeah.
Open up across from one another.
Yeah. So you got, well, if that's what you vote for, that's what you vote for. But if you want something different, you got to vote different. All right. We got to run caller. You can't take any more calls. I see the phone still lit up. I promise to play this video, but I want you to see this. I gotta let them see this, Miss Green.
Yes, let me. Yeah, I'm supposed to say something after that.
Lot number 3 is Papa property. And see the map, see it, yeah? That's lot number 3. Lot number 3 is Papa property. All right? That's lot number 3. This lot number 2 here. All right? And that's Hubert Ingham right next to it.
3 million?
And right next to it is Crown Land over there. All right? Ooh. So we've actually found Crown Land in the Sanford Drive area.
You lie.
Yeah. I think we gotta
We gotta go there.
Yeah, we gotta take that.
Yeah.
All right, that's ours. But Bahamas, there's so much more to see. But before we go to the rest of this, this is maps that they provided to show where these properties are that they're claiming, this Prospect Road, etc. We're going to walk to another one right next door and then to another one across the light. And then these are properties here that they're referencing. So it's a bunch of properties that they're claiming to be owned by NIB, including the house that they said was going to be for the Prime Minister. And that's that right there.
They purchased that too, Lincoln?
They're saying that NIB owns that. And so let's take a walk here before we go to the rest of it.
Yeah, hold on a second, but Lincoln, you know, Bahamians want to bring this up close. I want the Bahamians to see this because you see this? The Treasurer of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas to National Insurance Board. This is the workers' money, right? Volume number. We get everything. Bahamians say, look here. Watch this. Who was the Attorney General? Office of the Attorney General being recorded by the Attorney General. The 7th of August, 2014. Mr. Christie, you was in power. Yo, Mr. Christie, look at this. This was the Attorney General of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. All of y'all was in cahoots from thieving from the taxpayers' money. Watch this, Bahamian. Just see me. Lincoln, did you fraud this document?
Nope.
How you get this document? Oh, don't talk it. Coming out of the trash can. The Office of the Attorney General, Nassau, Bahamas. This is a recorded record. We ain't got no time to play with them. We gonna walk down to this next property.
That's Hubert Ingham's son right there.
That's Hubert Ingham's son?
Yeah, man.
Oh, I am so sorry, sir. We gonna walk down to this next property. What they purchased, National Insurance money back.
Yeah.
See?
All right.
I know.
I wouldn't know what they did. That niggas get 24 hours security for the what happened to them.
Yeah, they have 24 hours. National Insurance have 24 hours security because they're saying they own this. Now I don't know why the government would sell. So the government would sell the property to National Insurance. Tell me that makes sense.
Hey,
National Insurance is funding everything.
Hold on, what you
Tell
say?
your daddy I told him.
Hold on, watch
why? This
Look
is
at
derelict property.
I watch. Look at this, sir. What they say?
Chief Justice used to live here.
The Chief Justice?
Yeah,
Which
time
one?
ago.
Back a long time ago.
Long time ago.
And on the next side of the road, the next thing.
So what they
He
say?
named that one right now.
What they say? The Treasurer to National Insurance. You see me put it there, right? What you read, sir? The Governor General. You see this? Office of the Attorney General. Watch this. Who they say here? So what that means, sir?
That means he's correct.
Oh, that
Watch
is
this.
correct.
I want you to see this, right? This you can go ahead and help you. This property right here. That's your daddy when you inherit that. Did you hope so?
No, boy, we coming for ideas.
You squatting on it now, right? But we have to take that back for the people.
Thank you.
Tell your daddy I coming to talk to him.
Long time, I would know they get all this.
How the PLP get it though? The whole road? The PLP take the whole road.
Where?
He said the PLP had all this long time.
Oh, the PFP.
Wow. All right.
They just live with him and Perry.
All right. Cuban Ingram's son said it ain't just Ingram who own this property, it's Ingram and Perry.
Oh.
And in fact, Ingram and Perry own a property right next to this right there.
Oh.
Right. It's a long fence before the American Embassy. They own that right there. So let's walk right to the next. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was Hubert Ingram's son. All right, and he was giving us some information just now. All right.
But he give us all the.
So, for all of you watching this, y'all been getting swing all these years, and y'all been loving it. And so they were taking NIB money and acquiring derelict properties from themselves or whatever. And there's no way for us to get any money back from that. Including they've now broken down the house next to Goodman's Bay that they said was going to be the house of the Prime Minister. They say NIB own it. Why NIB got to own that? They using our NIB money and then raising NIB. So I just wanted to put that in there for you, not just for BPL. We showed you all of the different ways that they were doing all of this. Let's go, Miss Green. I think we lost video on Miss Green. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, remember, go ahead, Miss Green.
Just had to hang up the call. We are closing out.
Yes.
Are we closing out? Okay, so
Yes.
concerning the power, my fellow Bahamians, you had the opportunity to listen to all of the plans, and we still have not been able to share all of the plans with you. So we want you to go to the COI website, COI Bahamas website, and look at the energy reform plan, look at the plan for immigration, look at the plan for land ownership. The Bahamas has sunshine, wind, ocean surrounding every island. We should not remain heavily on imported fuel. And COI intends to turn our natural environment into energy security, Bahamian ownership, and we're going to lower the cost on reliable electricity for our people. And also concerning our soup and South, I want to sincerely thank every cook, donor, volunteer, ticket seller, member, and supporter who contributed to this soup and South that we're going to be having August 3rd. This is tomorrow at the national headquarters. Your commitment and continued support are what keep this organization going. We do not take your sacrifices for granted. We want to continue moving forward because this is the ship that is going to take us into the new Bahamas. So once again, check out the website, sign up to be a member. Like our leader said, you will automatically get your card. And for the existing members, you can also go and sign up again, and you can automatically receive your card. But thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate you guys. The information that was shared today, we hope you use it for the benefit of the entire country. Don't just sit on it. Use it. Speak to your members of parliament. Demand from them. Ask them questions and watch the responses. Thank you.
I see a comment there from some Kino Dean. He said he has a problem when we use the word when we talk. That's a part of the English vernacular. That's, as you can see, I'm doing it now. That's what people use when they are thinking. This is not a speech. During a
Think
speech, you
and
want to try to
question.
not to use that. But
Yeah.
every intelligent person uses that. That's persons who think they use that. Einstein did it. Obama did it a lot. All right, Che Guevara did it. That's why they call him Che, because in Spanish they don't say they say Che, and so that's why they call him Che Guevara. That's something that intelligent people do before
And
talking.
before we go, I also want to say something. I wanna say to the Bahamian people the things that we focus on, it is not going to take us into the new Bahamas. The things that our people focus on, I am asking our people to please rise up from where we are in our thinking. Rise up. We have members of parliament sitting and governing this country and can't even give a sensible response to the Bahamian people. But I don't see the Bahamian people questioning that. We have these people who are making decisions for our unborn children who can't even come up with solutions. But I don't hear the Bahamian people questioning that. Hence, we are in a bucket without a bottom, sinking deeper and deeper into the ocean. So we need to stop looking at these things. That is so. I mean that we are being robbed blind from an eye. I know we're supposed to be closing out, but we are being robbed. Our senior citizens, our grandmothers are suffering because they're not receiving the rightful pension that we're receiving because our leaders are the NIP. Question these things, brothers.
So my question is, are you sitting at home in the dark with a candle worrying about our leader
Um,
saying because what was
Lord,
revealed tonight with NIB, you should be really focused on that because that's your future when you go to retire, like the man who called and said they wouldn't give him $400 a month. You can't buy a patty a day with that kind of money. And that's why, see why I fought to double that pension. Anyway, energy
Hey,
security, it's easy to fix.
it is. Graham, a lot of Bahamians are sleeping in their cars, on beaches, etc., because they're suffering. And I tried to help as much people as I could over the last 3 years in that situation. But last night I learned how they felt because I slept in my car because the power was off and the generator had some issue. Turned out to just be one spark plug, but the generator had some issue. And I went and slept in the AC in my car all night.
Can
And
Mr. Bain,
I
can I just
can't
say one?
believe that people are
Can I say
suffering through that in this country.
can I say
Women with
one
their
thing?
children.
Can I say one
Go
thing about
ahead.
sleeping in your one thing about sleeping in your car with the air conditioner and the windows rolled up? If there's an exhaust leak underneath your car and your car is not airtight, you could put yourself to sleep. So this is a serious issue when people have to sleep in their cars.
wow.
Very serious issue.
Well, Mr. Bean, I just want to commend you. I want to commend Mr. Graham Weatherford. You know, the people are calling, the Bahamian people are asking questions. And one thing I can give you credit for, you're not saying, I have no questions or I have no answers. You might say, but at least you're answering the questions of the Bahamian people. So kudos to you guys. Continue doing good work that you're doing.
Thanks to both of you too.
Yeah, so I made sure I get my solar right and my generator right, so I don't have to sleep in my car again. But we need to solve this problem for the rest of the Bahamian people. We got to transform this country and change our thinking. We should be making money from our energy, selling it to our neighboring countries. But yet we are still talking about trying to just keep the lights on. I mean, seriously, we keep voting for that. I see they're playing a video right now. They're playing a video from before election and one right after election where I told people you voted for it, don't cry, and I stand by that. I stand by that. They just played a clip, so some people don't understand. They said I should have more compassion for people. That was before the lights started turning off when I said that. That's before this stuff started happening. But I wanted to make you
Who's
know that I told everyone this was going to happen. And so everything I say comes to pass.
who
And
had
so,
who had more compassion than you over the last 25 years, starting with the sea hauler, chaining yourself to a prime minister's gate to get the money for the people? They don't know the track record, eh? And let me tell you, the biggest insult was when Urka told me I could get $8 for sweating the whole night with the lights out. Now I thanked him for the $8. A lot of people say send it back. No, I want it. At least I could buy one ice cream.
yep. So let's fix the Bahamas, Graham. Let's fix the Bahamas.
And
And so
quick.
the fight continues. The fight continues. We have to continue educating the Bahamian people. Our movement has grown. I'm shocked at the amount of young people everywhere I go in the food stores, everywhere I go. The amount of young people who come up to me and greet me and do their little fish and want to take pictures with me. There's a serious movement even after election. where a lot of young people are on board and a lot of people are on board on the whole. I think there's buyer's remorse, and a lot of people want to see change. All right. So I want to thank you all. This has been a good one. I appreciate having you all on here with me. I wasn't lonely today. You all are very educated and smart. And they always say you have friends who smarter than you. And so I was in good company today. All right. So thank you, Miss Green, and thank you, Graham. And see you all tomorrow at the South Soup and South South. God bless you. See you next time.
You know, a lot of people wonder how Dubai became a very big, famous, and rich city.
You see, if you're comparing with Nigeria, listen to this. Nigeria has oil before than Dubai. It's a history. They are more rich than us. They have agriculture, they have mining, they have everything. You name it, they have it. Am I right or wrong? When you have a true leadership, which we have nothing, but we have everything because we have the right leadership. That's the only thing you need, a right leader for your country, not corruption. That's what brings your country at the top. You don't need anything. We want water, we don't have agriculture, we don't have mining.
That's quite interesting.
And that's Sheikh Mohammed. Number one, he doesn't know number two. He needs